This is real for me. I need this. This is a therapy for me.
So in today's therapy session, we're going over some fun subjects, attachment and abandonment issues. I want to preface a couple things though. One, we're not medical professionals by any means. We have done research and done some of our own just checking into some of these things, but for the most part, we talk from experience and from some of that research. So that's a big thing that I do want to preface. Also, some of the subjects that we talk about or just things that we say might be a little bit uncomfortable to hear or might be triggering to some viewers. So we want to say viewer discretion is advised in case anything gets brought up that anyone is not comfortable with. But with all that being said, let's have a fun therapy session.
Can't wait. Thanks. Here we go.
We all have our colorful beverages.
I know we got
We
a
do.
fucking rainbow over here.
Okay, I have to talk into the mic.
Yes.
I'm going to do that.
like into right here.
Into this.
Yes.
Okay, I'm just going to hold it.
Yeah.
Wait, for real?
Yeah, because
Well, we have to.
I back up when I talk. and
Well,
then
she
you
ends up
can't
like
hear.
talking like over here.
Yeah, I like
or
to do
over
that.
here.
I move.
Or
And so
back
I just
here.
need to like,
I know that we need to upgrade the microphones. I know. But I mean, for $80 off of Facebook Marketplace, these weren't bad,
it's true.
especially for condenser ones.
You look like the mic is going to abandon you.
Speaking of abandonment,
Holding it real tight.
oh wait, should we?
Don't
one
leave.
little elastic that's not.
Oh, Lord.
There we go.
Okay, I'm all set, guys.
God, I
Thank
just
you.
got the death grip on that.
Yeah,
I know. See, I can't. I have issues.
Yeah.
I have serious issues.
Like,
everyone.
just, yeah.
Yeah.
Just read your body language.
I know.
But how you guys today? Beautiful day in Arizona, right? Desert?
Yeah, it's been overcast all day.
Yeah.
I'm fucking loving it.
Me too.
So much.
I love the rain. Like, I prefer it over 120 degree heat all day.
So why are you here instead of like Seattle then?
You know, people don't always get to choose where they live, you know?
I mean, technically you do choose where you live in a certain way.
Well, I guess I have a lot of choices I could choose, and I don't always make the best choices.
That's okay.
And they led me here. We'll put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're probably
He
one
helps
of.
pay your mortgage.
Well,
so.
I mean that, but like, no, I love you.
Thank
I
you.
love you to
No,
death.
I'm glad I met you. I met you at a very interesting time.
Yeah, that was
how
very
long?
interesting.
How long ago did you guys meet?
Well, I have it on my calendar. It's,
Do you really?
no.
A year, almost 2 years.
2 years.
Almost
okay.
2 years.
Yeah, because I've lived here a little over a year now.
Yeah.
So.
It was October 2023 that I met you.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
hmm
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
Sure, we don't want to get into that.
Yeah. We can.
If we do PTSD, we'll talk about that.
Honestly.
We
Yeah,
should do PTSD.
we should.
We should absolutely do PTSD at some point.
For sure.
You'll hear a very good story.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
But today we're talking about an issue that is, I feel like, becoming a lot more prevalent in today's world, especially with different parenting tactics, different just events that happen.
Society in
yeah.
general, like ghosting.
Yeah. We're talking about abandonment issues, which is always the most fun thing ever to talk about. And I'm listening to another podcast right now that has an attachment expert on and talking about it. And a lot of what they're saying is just hitting really, really close to home, especially with the way that parenting is. I personally, so I guess starting with my story,
Mm-hmm.
by the time I was my parents had 50-50 custody of me growing up. And then by the time I was about 12 years old, my dad wasn't as much in the picture. He went into a mental institution. And so I didn't see him for like 6 years.
Can we? Abandonment.
Yeah.
You just jumped right into it real
Yeah,
fast.
yeah.
Is that how we're doing it?
Yeah, that's
We're
what
not
rolling.
going to know, like, precursor, just go.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
get
we're just going
into
into
it.
stories.
All right, let's hear it, man.
Yeah.
I wasn't ready to go like deep.
Yeah, no,
We should have told you.
All right,
yeah,
no,
we
it's
just
good.
jump right into shit.
Oh,
Yeah, we do.
I like
No
it.
intro.
I mean, is there something that you want to?
No, I just thought we were gonna do a little,
Ease up into it.
No, but just go right in, buddy.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Well, we're also on a little bit more of a time crunch
We
today,
do,
so
yeah.
I'm trying to just get right into
Right.
everything.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. So he left a picture, and then I was pretty much raised by my mom for the most part. And then after that, it kind of came into my journaling today. I journal every morning, just brain dumping stuff, just kind of go through that. But I was talking to somebody, and we're talking about being on our own for the first time. They're living with their family, and I was like, oh yeah, I've always been a proponent that if you can't live with your family in your early adulthood, you can save money on rent, you have a healthy relationship with them, fucking do it. I'm sorry, but
I was
like,
not able to do that.
yeah, like, so there's so many people or kids of today that are so forward on, I need to get the fuck out of here, I need to be on my own, I need to be independent and doing all this kind of stuff because that's how our society is right now.
Well, yeah, that's the sociological norm. Like, and when we're young, we want to be older, and when we're older, we want to be young. Like, we always want what we can't have, and it's
Yeah,
just like
exactly.
programmed in us. It's crazy.
But I think it's also funny, and I didn't even realize this until probably like maybe 5 years ago, maybe even less, that it is more just of a Western culture or Americanized concept to be independent that early on. Around the world and most other cultures, they are multi-generational households. You don't leave when you're 18. You leave when you find the spouse. You leave when it's right. Not just like, oh, you're legally allowed to get out, and now your parents are saying, get the fuck out. This is my house.
Right.
That's such an Americanized fucking thing. I didn't even realize that, really. I thought it was a normal thing.
Do you think it's just like an American thing to feel abandonment then? Like, I mean, obviously not, but
I mean,
more so
that type
because of
of
that.
abandonment, like from their parents, I think family abandonment is something that's definitely more American because families are much more tight knit in other countries, and
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
they stick around. They take care of their grandparents when they get older, and like, I mean, I was kicked out of my house when I was 18, so I didn't really, even if I like wanted to stay, I couldn't. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's abandonment, but like.
I mean, it pretty much, I would consider abandonment because you're forcefully being removed from your environment. You had no choice. You couldn't stay there.
But I didn't abandon them. No one
Well,
abandoned each other.
So I feel like, can I get personal about you?
Please.
Okay. So I think like because they kicked you out for whatever reason they did, you've had a few moments where you wanted to go back and visit them and you didn't for whatever reason. And so do you think that that's part of like you didn't want to disappoint them again in a way? Because I feel like that's kind of a section of abandonment issues is like they kicked you out for whatever reason and then you don't want to like not be who they think that you should be.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
Kayla, that's my whole life.
I know.
Literally, I'm just figuring this out, like having like an epistemological scandal, just realizing something that I thought was true my whole life was not. Like, I am figuring out that my whole life, I just have been trying to do what my parents wanted me to do.
Yeah.
And I do everything to make them happy, or try to make them happy, even though I mess up on everything and have done nothing but disappoint them when I know what I could do to do it better. But like, yeah, they programmed me, but it's not their fault, you know?
Yeah.
Parents don't know they're doing it. Well, I know now, so I know better for my if I ever have kids. But like, yeah, they had very high standards for me, and I felt like if I didn't achieve them, I'm a failure.
What was it that you feel like they wanted you to do that you didn't do? Was it like just mostly like career oriented? Because I know that's obviously a huge trend, not even just in America, but everywhere. Like the parents will pretty much set out your career path. Oh, you're going to be a lawyer because the rest of the families are lawyer. You're going to be a doctor because or the family business or whatever like that. I'm curious in your situation of how that kind of relates, of like what specifically they put, like what pressure they put on you.
I mean, I think it's pretty much a pressure that most middle to upper class kids go through. You know, go to high school, get good grades, play some sort of sport, then go to college and get a degree and then get a job. Like, it's the normal cookie cutter thing. And like, they weren't open to me exploring other ideas. I felt like they had their they let me get off the path a little bit, like try some artistic things like skateboarding and stuff. But I always felt like I had to hide everything from them because I felt like they judged me. And if I didn't walk their path, then I feel like, oh, I might get in trouble, or I'll get yelled at, or like get grounded. Because they grounded me a lot. Like, I was 5 minutes late for dinner, and they grounded me for a month.
Really?
Oh, shit. She spent like 2 years grounded.
4 years.
Yeah.
4 years. The entire high school, I was grounded. Yeah. I would get off grounding, and then I would like be outside, like next to my neighbor's house, and they would see me from the window, and they'd be like, "You're grounded for 2 weeks." And I'm like,
what were you
whatever.
grounded for? That it was like 4 years.
Smoking weed.
Oh.
Yeah, because back then it wasn't legal yet, and it was like this whole thing and whatever. So
well, it's still not legal if you're not 21. So.
Well, okay, I wasn't 21 back then.
I mean,
but
technically, it's federally not legal.
Yeah.
Still either.
Semantics.
So, yeah, they were just protecting me, and they saved my life. You know,
Yeah.
I didn't get to go to parties or anything and do all the drugs that everyone was doing, and so they kept me safe.
True. So is that like, so they're clinging on to you, or do you think they're doing it from like a punishment standpoint? Or like, do you think, were they scared that you might abandon them? So they try to keep you around closer all the time. So you like, you don't get to experience the world. You don't want to go out away. So they keep you close. So you don't abandon them.
I think it was mainly like my family my mom's side had a lot of like drug issues. So she saw that happening and wanted to stop that. But then, so like they took away my freedoms, and it got to a point where like they took my phone away for so long that one day I just left for 3 days. And I came back. Yeah, I just left.
Without a phone?
Without a phone.
How? What?
I know, how dare I. But when I came back, I was like, oh, if I had a phone, you would have known where I was.
Yeah.
And so they gave me my phone back.
Well played.
Yeah.
I mean, when it comes to that kind of...
Jesus, Kayla. All right, so let's say this. You have parents... there's two people. One has parents that abandon them, or they feel abandoned by their parents. One that has parents that are loving, always with them all the time. You think one of those kids are going to be like predestined to act a certain way?
Yes.
Or go down a certain path that may be not very conducive to a positive lifestyle?
Yes.
100%.
And which one of those kids would you think go which way?
I would say in that kind of instance, the child who has been abandoned is going to live a conducive lifestyle due to the fact that they're always searching for the replacement of what that parental figure should have provided. Like in the podcast I'm learning about, the first 1 to 3 years of a child's life, neurologically, they're connected to their mother like crazy. And so if in a situation like, and it's not to say that like, if you're raised only by a father growing up or only by a mother growing up, that you're predestined for failure type of stuff. But each parent has a specific role in their child's life. With the podcast I'm learning about, the mother's role is to help release the oxytocin chemical in the brain's or in the baby's brain.
Oh, they have like a physiological
Yes, there's
role.
an actual neurological connection that goes into it, and that oxytocin makes it to where the cortisol levels aren't as high, which babies are very fragile. Cortisol affects them in a much different way than it affects me and you. We can kind of have some stress and have cortisol levels that are a little bit higher and be able to do it. But for babies, it's a completely different story. They don't know what the stress hormone is doing. And so they
I feel like
that.
if their mom like passes away in childbirth or something, that they'll have that connection with their dad though.
Yes.
I guess it's whoever they're the most comfortable with.
I don't know. I think you vibe with your mother. You're in her body. Like that's something you can't make. Like
I mean, it kind of comes in different things because, like, yes, you can kind of have a similar relationship, but like the mother is biologically the more nurturing parent, and then the father is the more protector, the one who kind of helps to regulate the emotions such as anger and stuff. That's why kids that grew up without a father, a lot of times they end up having behavioral issues in school, that they're not able to properly have an outlet for their anger. And so, but they can't, they know how to love, or maybe they're in that kind of situation.
Yeah, we could do modern role reversal and parenting and how that can play a role. So you were abandoned as a kid. Were you abandoned? Do you feel abandoned?
Yes, I had, so like I said, my parents had 50-50 custody up until I was about 12. And then after that, I was only raised by my mom. So I feel like psychologically there is an abandonment from my father in that aspect, especially in the developmental years between like 12 and 18, to where like those are the years I'm learning how to be a man. Those are the years.
He was completely absent.
Yeah, I didn't hear from him. Maybe an email once every couple of years or something, but that was pretty much the extent of it.
When's the last time you seen him?
Now, well, the last time I saw him, I think I was 18 or 19 now.
So like last year?
I'm 26. Definitely a little bit more than last year.
Okay, so do you feel like you reconnected with him, and have the abandonment issues gone away? Have you ever asked him why he abandoned you?
Well, yeah, we've definitely talked about it, and it's not the fact that like he purposely abandoned me. I'm going to preface with saying that to make sure he didn't purposely just walk out of my life. He has manic bipolar disorder himself, and as you're aware, it comes in cycles. For him, it came in the cycle when I was 12, and he had to be institutionalized because he couldn't maintain the mentality to be a father at that point. So
how long was he institutionalized?
Starting at 12 up until I believe I was 16, 17. So
no way. He was like in a facility for that long?
Yeah.
No way.
From what at least from my understanding.
So he didn't abandon you, he was taken from you.
Essentially, yes. But then I also think I have psychologically abandonment issues from my mother as well. She was present, but her psychological state had changed drastically. She was no longer necessarily fully the role of a mother because her own mental issues or illnesses or whatever had started kicking in by the time I was 12. And so it became more of I was the man of the house. I was the provider. I was in the place that a father should be in the household.
At 12.
Yeah, at 12.
So it was just you and your mom?
Yeah.
And she was not mentally right either? Did you know that at the time? Could you tell?
I knew that something was off, but I didn't know the details of it. I didn't know, like, obviously I saw that my mom was different than other people's moms and the way that they're being parented, but I didn't know the details as far as, like, what could it be or why does my mom act like this? And I didn't learn any of that probably until I was in my very late teens, early 20s, that I finally get to understand the reasoning behind her stuff.
So father gets taken away from you. You felt abandoned until you reconnected with him and found out why. Oh yeah,
I knew why immediately. It was never hidden from me that he was institutionalized. So it was like obviously I felt abandoned, but not in the sense of like, oh, my dad just walked out on me, he can go fuck himself type of thing. I knew
really the feeling of him not being there.
Yeah, it was the fact that like I wasn't being mentored to be a man by another grown man. Like those years are like you're going through puberty, you start having the hormones, you start having all these changes happening to your mind and stuff. And I didn't have that.
You felt something absent in your childhood.
I mean, there was boyfriends and fiancés and husbands and stuff that were in the picture, but there was no continuous role model in that instance for me.
No, that's crucial. Is he better now?
Now, yes. After we reconnected when I was 17, 18-ish. So and that's actually part of the whole thing that I was writing about in my journal was the fact that after I was 18, I graduated high school and then I moved out of my mom's house into my dad's house. And the whole time, like, he was back in Flagstaff and stuff, he was trying to get me to come live with him. But I already had an established life with my mom. I already had everything. I'm like, I don't need a bunch of that. But I had come to live with him for the summer after high school. And then pretty much maybe 3 months later, when like school and stuff was starting back up, he says, I'm moving back to the East Coast. You're going to have to find your own place. And
Damn.
so I was like,
Okay.
You finally got your dad.
yeah, I was.
And then
So I think like in my reflection today, I was like, I think I have some abandonment type of issues from that because, like I said, I was finally with my dad. I was finally in that situation that he had so long hoped for, to be able to have his son in the house and everything, and then everything's again uprooted in my life. Now I have to go on my own. I know how to be an adult on my own, but I don't know how to be an adult, if that makes sense.
No, none of us knows how to be a fucking
Yeah.
adult, dude. No.
Like, obviously, I know what rent is. I've been doing most of this
What's
stuff.
rent?
But most of the big stuff, I knew the basics of adulthood.
Yeah.
But not,
I have a question.
yeah.
What feels worse? The abandonment of your dad not being there at all, or your mom being distant from you?
Cause she could have been there,
Oh,
or she,
fuck.
yeah, cause she
There, but
could have been
not.
there, and it was more her choice, kind of.
Yeah.
If she didn't have like severe mental issues that were forcing it, then like,
I think it hurt worse with my dad.
Okay.
Only because, like, my mom technically was physically there in every aspect that she could. The only thing that was kind of stopping her was her mental illnesses. And that's not anything that I can be like, hey, stop being mentally ill and be a mom. But with my dad, he wasn't even there at all.
Yeah.
He was completely absent from the picture. So I couldn't ever, like, talk to him even on good days or anything.
You know why I
yeah.
asked that. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I might forget, so I'm gonna ask mine.
Yeah.
So, father was physically absent,
Right.
physically abandoned by father, and mother was mentally abandoning you. But the physical abandonment weighed heavier on you because it was your father figure, or because you just couldn't see it every day, so you missed it more.
I think it was because I couldn't see him, and like especially like being at school when I would see fathers come pick up their kids, or like when I'm at games or something and the dad's there to watch, or all the stuff that you're supposed to be able to do with the dad. I'm like, I can't do any of that shit. At least with my mom, I can try to get her to do something. And there were plenty of days that she was like a very good mom. Like, it wasn't a consistent thing of like she was a shit mom, which she wasn't a shit mom at all.
Yeah.
I want to preface that. Like, she did the best with what she could, with the resources that were available to her, with the mentality. Like, she didn't choose to have a certain type of parenting or a certain type of thing. This is just the cards that were kind of dealt. So I think with that understanding is why it didn't hurt as much with her, because I was like, well, it's not like she's doing this on purpose. And it's not to say my dad was doing it on purpose, but I think it was just the fact that, like, I couldn't really have his presence there at all. Good days, bad days, anything. It was just like, okay, well, I have to pretty much act like I just don't have a dad at all.
So let me ask you this. Your father not being there, your baseball games or whatever you did, your wrestling, did that create some sort of like deeper issue or insecurity in yourself that has manifested and still affects you today?
Oh, absolutely.
Is there a direct effect that you can draw to that feeling the kid that's not normal in high school that has a father? Like, is there something you can correlate directly to that?
Oh, absolutely.
In your personality now?
Yeah. My relationship with men struggles a lot. I struggle a lot, especially with the man's men. are very alpha, very ego, very much have that alpha or I guess masculine energy.
That's why you don't like me.
Yeah, fuck you. I definitely see a big correlation in my ability to develop relationships with men. Like my ability to develop a relationship with a woman, whether it's romantic, friendly, anything like that, is so much easier for me because I relate a lot more to them versus a man. There's immediately walls built up of like, I've had a lot of stepdad type of figures in my life. And I think I just knew deep down that like none of them were my actual dad. Who do I actually start to learn like, and like, it's not even to say that they were all healthy. Like most of them were not healthy men. Most of them were very bad men. I will just come out and say they were bad men. And so like I think I knew that and I didn't have anything to attach that part of myself to. And so that's become a very prevalent thing for me.
Prevalent. You keep saying it wrong. Prevalent.
Prevalent.
You said twice now.
Okay. I'm tongue tied, so I can't. I do have a little bit of a speech impediment sometimes with certain words.
Tongue tied. That sounds made up. That's not a real thing.
That cord on the bottom of your tongue.
Oh, that's a real thing, actually.
Yeah, like the cord for like normal people, their cord's like back here on the tongue.
Yeah.
Mine's all the way up. So.
Oh, your tongue is attached to the bottom of your mouth.
Yeah, like I can't really stick out my tongue.
What?
Yeah, I can make a heart with my tongue.
How'd you ever make out with like girls with the tongue?
You learn.
Just like
you learn to get around it.
All right, so man, your mother, where's she at now? Is she still in your life?
Yeah. They're both technically in my life. Due to the relationship that I grew up with her, I did have to distance myself after I moved out, just because that's when I started really seeing a lot of the unhealthy behaviors and stuff, and I realized that I needed to separate myself from that. In order for me to grow in a healthy way myself, I had to separate myself from unhealthy tendencies. And I never grew up I didn't grow up around a lot of family. That made it to where I didn't have a problem separating myself from family. Like it wasn't ever like a thing like they're your mom, so you have to do this. I'm like, just because we're genetically related does not mean I'm obligated to do anything.
Really?
Oh, absolutely.
You could just discard your mother and not even like.
Well, I'm not going to discard her.
No, I don't mean like that.
It wasn't a thing that like I had the obligation to completely stay as present in her life or have her as present in my life.
I've had that struggle a lot.
Really?
Yeah, with my like bipolar and my family not caring about it at all. I've left my family like 4 times. But the thought of it all the time is like, but they're my family though. So I always come back.
I mean, that thought does come to me too.
Yeah.
But it's also what's best for me. Like, is the genetic relationship more important than the possible neurological effects that this could be happening?
Yeah, that's how I feel. What about you though, with your family?
You're saying
enough fully of me. I want to hear. I want to hear.
No. You're far more interesting. I did have one more question that I wanted to ask you though. So like, you do feel like you're having trouble with your male relationships nowadays, in present time. So are you more worried that if you have a relationship with a male that they're gonna abandon you, or if you have a relationship with a female? Are you more worried that they'll abandon you? Like comparatively, male or female, who's more likely to abandon you now, like in your mind?
I think the one that affects me more is female abandonment. But that's also just due to not just like those kind of abandonment issues, but just attachment styles as well. With men, I have like, it also depends on how close I am to them. Like I do have a few males in my life that I am pretty close to. And if abandonment were to happen there, it would still hurt a lot, but I do definitely feel like female abandonment to me feels more big to me. It affects me a lot more.
Who are you more apprehensive to get in a deeper emotional relationship with, male or female, present day?
I think female, just because of they are more psychologically emotional creatures, and
This isn't adding up. Father abandons you.
yeah, I know.
I think your hormones are now playing the make. Are you a straight man?
I am a straight man.
So
yes.
then you like females. So I
Yes.
think that's what, bro. I think that's what's playing the role here. You just girls hurt you because you know they make you feel good.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of this might be coming from.
I think, well, there's definitely the current day effects of abandonment, I think, are more relevant to women, but they stem, I think, a little bit more in men. And that's one of the reasons why I do have the issues of attaching myself to men at all versus like a woman. I have no problem getting an attachment with them, but that's where like that attachment will grow more, and I think that's where the pain comes from more of, because I do tend to get more attached to a woman. I'm able to open up more to them. I'm able to be more vulnerable to them. I'm able to create more of that emotional connection that you make.
Yeah,
because that's how women are versus guys. They don't really have that kind of connection.
But you also had your mother around more for those sort of things, and you didn't have your father, so you didn't have training or...
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was able to exercise the female type of connection a lot more versus being able to figure out how to properly or in a healthy way attach myself to a man.
I mean, I'm kind of the same way. But I have no problem. I mean, I can attach myself to anybody.
Yeah.
But females, I do have an easier time opening up with. But because I still, in my entire life, have never really even had a conversation with my father.
Really?
Like, never have I been, not really with either of my parents, where I was able to let my guard down completely and be myself. I mean, a lot of that could have had to do with like other life choices I was making, and that I was ashamed of that. So I felt like I couldn't be myself, because that might have set off some alarms to, like, you know, inhibit other things I was doing. But I never have just been talked to my dad as like I talk to you guys, like joke around. Like, I'm scared to cuss. I can't cuss around them. I'm scared to be like, you know, say something degrading or like, I don't know, impolite. Like, they're all about manners, respect, like, be considerate of everything around you. And like, that shit has just manifested in like so many crazy ways now, like OCD and things like that, which I think is your guys' next episode. Like, the things they drilled into my head that I need to do this, or like I'm going to be punished, or I have to be this way. It's like, now it's like I'm hyperactive and obsessive about everything. Not everything, but a lot of things, because it's like back in my head, I don't want to disappoint my parents.
Yeah.
I don't want to get them angry.
Is there one parent for you that you attached yourself more to?
Yeah, mother. I mean, my dad, he started a countertop business in California, Bay Area. And so, like, he just worked all day. And I just felt like he'd work, and then he basically just come home and take out all his stress from work on us. Like, just always be grumpy and shit. And, like, he'd just come, have his beer. Like, neither of my parents drank a lot. They literally just have, like, one beer every night, and, like, that's it. But, yeah, he'd have his beer, expect my mom to have home-cooked meal ready, even though she worked all day at the company too. And then he'd watch TV, and then he'd fall asleep.
So kind of like a classic, almost like mid-60s, 70s, 80s type of household where dad's provider, mom's the homemaker, but...
Yeah, I mean, I grew up Roman Catholic, so I don't know if that has something to do with it. But...
Oh, yeah. Stuff like religion, I feel like, plays a big part, especially in those kinds of things, because of the way that it says in the Bible or whatever religion you are of the roles of the house, but how it's also misinterpreted in some instances. So for current day for you then, how would you describe your attachment to men versus women, or ability to do so?
Well, I think hormones play a big part in that
Yeah.
too. Because I mean, I definitely. Oh man, I don't get attached to anybody, dude. I can't trust anybody in this.
Okay, so a little bit more of an avoidant then.
Yeah, it's getting attached to something that I have a very hard time doing, and that way I don't get abandoned.
Continue like hardcore. Do you guys know like the different attachment styles?
Like codependent and
like there's I think 3 or 4 different specific attachment styles.
Like Siamese twins.
No, not like Siamese twins.
Attached to the hip.
So the attachment styles, let me see here. There's 4 of them. There's secure, anxious, fearful avoidant, or dismissive avoidant. So those ones kind of describe how typically you attach yourself to people. And they did like studies on infants and stuff of these styles based off of like putting mom in a room, having them leave. If you guys want to hear a little bit more about these, there's plenty of other episodes and stuff.
We're not link below.
We're not trained psychologists or trained medical professionals or anything. So everything that we say, this is just based off of research that I've done into this kind of field. But like I've noticed for myself, I naturally kind of tend to be a little bit more of an anxious.
I'm anxious all day.
Anxious attachment style.
What was the other one? Comfort or something?
So there's secure.
Secure, yeah.
What's that mean entirely?
So secure would mutual trust and support.
So that's like normal, like if you're healthy,
like
if you're
the healthiest.
Whoa! Wait, no, because I'm not healthy.
So secure is individuals with the secure attachment style feel safe, valued, and understood in relationships, and are comfortable with intimacy and independence. Anxious / preoccupied is people with an anxious attachment style crave closeness, reassurance, and often worry about abandonment and seeking excessive validation.
That's me all day.
That sounds needy.
No, yeah. No, seriously.
Avoidant dismissive is individuals individuals with an avoidant attachment style prioritize independence and self-reliance, often suppressing their emotions and distancing themselves from intimacy.
I mean, I don't suppress my emotions. I think I kind of express them a little too much.
There's been moments where I was trying to get at you.
Yeah, I know.
And then you were like, fuck this. And you like walked away.
Well, bro, I can't. We live together. That would be all bad.
I know.
We would no longer be able to live together.
I didn't mean to.
There's still one more.
That, though. Okay.
So there's disorganized fearful avoidance. So this style is characterized by the fear of both closeness and rejection, often stemming from experiences of trauma or inconsistent caregiving.
That's like more you kind of almost.
I kind of have a little bit of a fearful avoidant / anxious, which I've been obviously working on that, but that leads into its own thing with love languages, which I strongly like. Some people are a little bit voodoo on love languages, but it's the most non-voodoo thing I think I've ever, like, there's nothing voodoo about it.
Mine's words of affirmation.
Yeah.
And what's the one where you acts of service?
Do you know yours?
Yeah, fellatio, for sure.
What the fuck is fellatio? I don't know what fellatio is.
Cutting linguists is my love language.
I went on tour with them.
Did
you know that?
Yes.
You did.
But it means something other than a band.
Okay. But whatever.
We'll do earmuffs for Alex in the future. You don't know what that is?
No. That's a word I don't know.
What did I say again?
Fellatio.
Oh, fellatio, like oral sex.
Oh, I've never heard it.
That's his love language, everyone.
It's French.
That's probably why I don't know it.
I don't know if it's French. I don't know. It sounds French.
In seriousness, what do you know your love languages as a man? Because I know that it tends to be stuff like physical touch and
yeah, definitely physical touch. I'm a very kind of touchy-feely type of guy. I mean, I do like to be touched
I'm
touching.
I'm also not talking about like in sexual ways.
No, I know. Because
Okay.
like honestly, I think it stems from my mother. Because when I was ever sick or like struggling or anything, I'd be just dying in bed sick, and my mother would come in and she'd put her hand on my back, and like I'd feel all the pain go away. Like I would no longer be sick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
It's powerful.
the touch it's so much, like it heals.
Yeah.
And if I'm ever like stressing or like feeling bad, like somebody just puts their hand on my back, like it helps so much with like just calming and like breathing with somebody and just feeling a human.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, yours definitely is that. For the longest time, and obviously these can change over time. That's one of the reasons me and my ex broke up, because love languages changed. But for the longest time, I just thought it was for me physical touch and quality time were like my main ones. But I realized of how big words of affirmation played for me. The fact that like if I get a compliment by a woman, I'm gonna be so fucking flustered. I'm gonna be like, I don't even know how to fucking respond to that shit. Or
Really?
For me, it's because like I think growing up, it was a lot of like, oh, we're so proud of you type of like the normal bullshit. But it wasn't when someone like individually like that was so good or something like really kind of
You had to say it like that. God.
No.
Jesus.
Like just like the affirmation, or like you're such a caring person, I love you so much, that like those kinds of things can heal me so much more than just like I don't know, like,
spending time with someone.
Yeah, which I still like. For me, all of them are relevant, but it's not. I don't know. It's definitely different.
Yeah, I'm different for you. Like I don't believe these girls or these females. So like, they can compliment me like, oh sure, okay, like. Thanks.
Where do you think that comes from? Like not
just from a lot of girls gas lamping. And
oh yeah.
I mean, everybody in this world is liars pretty much. And we all just fake it till we make it. And then a lot of us never make it. And we just keep faking it. And then we become the lie. And then, like, I feel like everyone in society pretty much has some sort of facade that they're putting on. And there's very few genuine, authentic people out there.
So do you think that you feel more abandonment then from your father than your mother, or vice versa?
No, I feel like a reverse abandonment. Like I knew that they would never abandon me. And that's what hindered my growth as an adult massively. Because I always knew I had a safety net.
Oh.
I knew I could do whatever, fuck up, go to jail, whatever. And I can always go call mom and dad and they'll save me. I can always go back home.
So how do you think that negatively affected you then?
Because I would suffer some sort of consequences, but I know that to not have a place to go home to, or you can call home, or like when you're homeless, dude, it's a different thing when you know you still have family in the back of your mind that you can call.
Almost like what you're doing is more of a choice rather than an actual situation.
It's not a good feeling to not know where you're going to sleep at night.
Yeah.
But it's a little better feeling to know that, like, if you really, really, really needed to, it'd be fucking shameful, but you could go call your parents. And it's like, to have that, it's kind of like enabling, but it's not like they meant to enable me. They just love me so fucking much. Like, obviously, how could you not?
Yeah.
But, like, I just knew that no matter how bad I fuck up, I would still have my parents there for me. And so, I don't know, is that a reverse abandonment or like overbearing parenthood? They weren't overbearing, they were just fucking loving, dude. Like, they're just good Catholic parents. They still are good Catholic parents. And like,
no, I mean, that makes sense though.
Yeah.
Because like I had the opposite. My parents, I didn't ever have the option to go back. I mean, I could maybe go stay with my dad, but then I'd have to go all the way to the East Coast to do so, and he never like had his own place. He was always staying with family out there too, so I didn't really have that. And then my mom, obviously, I couldn't. She was homeless for a little while after I moved out, so there was no safety net, which meant that I'm in this fight to the like. There was no safety net for me. There was no plan B.
Oh my God, bro. This brings up like the most heavy thing that in my entire life, which is like so crazy to me, but it's like true, that I will never achieve my full potential and be like the man that I'm meant to be, the man my parents want me to be, until they fucking die. Because only until then, like, that's when I'll finally feel alone.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I'll finally have to be the man I need to be. But they'll never fucking see it, dude, because they'll be fucking dead.
Do you think that that's, though, just kind of like your way of looking at it? Or do you think that there might be a way for yourself to put that fire under your own ass?
If I've been trying.
It's really hard.
And
yeah.
I mean, I think motivation is a little bit of an issue for me. Or I think I'm too goddamn smart and everything's too fucking easy for me. And it's just like, I don't need to try to like get by in life. So I'll always take the path of least resistance, easy way out. Because everything's fucking easy. Because I'm smarter than everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And
I understand what you're saying completely, because when my dad passed away, it's super heavy. You can say that I have daddy issues or whatever now. But there's like so many different things that I'm like, well, my dad's not here, so I'm just going to do it anyways. Like, where beforehand, if my dad would see me do that, I probably shouldn't do that, you know?
Yeah.
And so.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I feel what you're saying. Like, and there's things that like my mom, like if my mom like passes away too, like it's just like one less person to disappoint in a way.
Yeah.
Like it's awful to think about, but it's so true.
Well, I actually relate to you guys on that note too, because when it came to consequences and discipline, like with my mom, part of her thing was like, she loved being that cool mom. And so there were instances that like, I remember one specific instance that I got high with some friends and literally came home.
What?
And I was...
Like marijuana?
Yeah.
Bro, what?
I used to smoke marijuana. Yeah.
Okay, we don't allow that here.
But no, I came home like stoned out of my fucking mind. And my mom was in the living room and I was just in front of her. And the only thing that she really said was like, I don't care. I'm just upset you didn't come bring me any. Like, she literally didn't give two shits whether I was high or not, which, call it what you want, but it was like those kind of instances that like I knew that I didn't have the repercussions of her. Like, her punishments could never eat. Like, it was something easy, like no TV tonight, no electronics, or...
Yeah.
So some bullshit, like it was never like hard, but I think it was also a different disciplinary thing with us because in those times too, I had the mentality of she can't do shit to me because I'm the man of the house.
Right.
Our levels of authority are equal at this point now.
Jesus.
Like
you played your dad being in mental facility kind of almost to your like advantage.
Well, in my own ways, yes.
Well, he had to.
Because of the fact that my mom, her mentality went from being like adult mom to childish, and her like so my mom has borderline personality disorder.
So you not only did you play that like to your advantage, but that's really what you were. You were the fucking man of the house.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
I was raising both me and her at that point.
Oh, okay.
Which it wasn't like that the entire time. Like obviously she was still a good mom, but there was a lot, I think, of psychological things of that remembrance of like without me, like she can't do this to me because I'm at this level. And then especially like after I became bigger than her, after I became just, I don't know, her look towards me changed, which changed my look towards her.
I think that might be like a strength for people in a way because of just what you described of like having two loving parents that like have an idea of you that you should be like. And if you're not living up to that, then you're just like hurting all the time because you're disappointing these people. And if you don't have, like, you didn't have your dad to disappoint, right?
Yeah.
And then you were the man of the house with your mom. So, like, you got to kind of choose who you're going to be.
Yeah.
And so, in that, having to take care of the house, you were more motivated to get your shit together.
Yeah, you had to grow up early. Like,
yeah.
It probably helps you maybe in the long run.
Oh, I know that in the long run, it really did help. Like my school counselor saw what my life looked like at home versus what I was doing, and obviously I fucked up. There was a lot of shit that I did that I probably shouldn't have done. But in general, I was on a path that I shouldn't have been in a good way. Of like, I was like, I am determined to have success in my life. I'm determined to not let this bullshit lead down a path of drug abuse and homelessness and be one of those people that's victimizing myself. It was a path of like, I would see like one of those Disney shows that has a kid that went through a lot of turmoil, and then later on he's giving motivational speeches when he's in his 20s and 30s being like, just because of the cards I was dealt doesn't mean I play a bad game type of thing.
Yeah.
And that was immediately like the mindset that I ended up having a lot more of. Like that the Bill Gates quote, or no, I think it was Steve Jobs, of like, if you're born poor, that's not your fault, but if you die poor, that is your fault. I took quotes like that.
I like that. I never heard that. Yeah.
To where it's like, you're born this way, okay. Obviously you can't help how you're born. But if you live your whole life in this victim mentality, this whole thing of feeling sorry for yourself, that I didn't have this lifestyle, so I can't do this, or I'm doing this, then I'm sorry, but like, the only person that's being affected by these decisions is yourself. And so I ended up turning that like, okay, well, I've been very much a problem solution kind of person my whole life. What's the problem? Okay, well, this is a problem. What's the solution, or is there a solution? Because I see that this would be a problem. Growing up like this, having this kind of lifestyle, that would be the problem. What's the solution to avoid that problem? The solution is, okay, well, I know the people not to hang out with. I know the substances to try to stay away from. I know what successful people do or tend to do. What can I do to put myself on that? Like my school counselor literally pulled me into her room and she was like, after you get out of high school, please mentor kids, because the mentality you have, like I've seen your life. You should not be doing what you're doing right now. I have other kids that have had similar lifestyles. They're not at school right now. They're in jail. They're on the streets. They're battling this. You somehow, by the grace of God, didn't fall down that path, and you need to teach that to these other kids. And for me, I was like, I don't know what the fuck to do. Okay, I mean, but it was like that also put like a new weight on my shoulders of like, okay, so I really do have to do this, because I hate seeing people in those kinds of situations. I'm like, yes, you can sit here to be sorry for yourself, but what is that doing for you? What good is it doing for you to sit here and thinking about how bad your situation is, how fucked up the world is to you, all this kind of shit? We all know that the world is a fucked up place. We all know that people can be evil and stuff, but that's also the choice that we have to contemplate and to meditate on those things versus, okay, well, I'm going to do the best with what I have. I see a certain lifestyle.
Yeah, but not everyone has the mental intellect that you do to be able to analyze the situation and like discern what's the best outcome. Like, not everyone thinks like you. It would be great if they did, but
yeah, I know.
That's so true.
But that's also why like I like to dive into people's brains to see where it stems from, to be able to be like, okay, well, you're feeling sorry for yourself. What do you feel sorry for yourself in? It's like, well, this is, people treat me like this, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, the first way to solve a problem is admitting there is one. If you can't admit to yourself that there's a problem there, if you're too much on your high horse, it's not going to get fixed.
You're in denial, yeah.
And then the second is to actually want the change. You have to want it for yourself. You can't do it for a spouse. You can't do it for a partner. You can't do it for a friend. You can't do it for anyone but yourself.
That's the truth for
That's
sure,
true.
bro.
That's the stages of growth that I've learned.
That's
like,
the only way it's gonna ever work. Yeah.
like in romantic relationships, that's a big thing that I had to learn is like, okay, well, I have these tendencies, blah, blah, blah. And then that's when I had to kind of take a step back and realize, okay, I see this as the problem. I see what the actual problem is. These girls that I'm going for, they have these psychological issues, but they're not trying to fix it in the way that I'm fixing mine. But we're enabling each other because we're chasing after whatever dopamine or serotonin is being released during our interaction. So kind of like dissecting it like that. I want to hear about your stuff though, because I know that you have like you guys. I see a
I want to say one thing.
Yeah.
I just want to say that for a very long time, I almost wish I had a rougher childhood.
That's what
So I had an excuse to be a fuck up. Like, oh, my parents sucked. So like that's why I turned out this way.
Yeah.
But I have no excuse or no one I can blame as far as parenting and stuff like that. Like if you turn out shitty, you could at least blame your parents.
I don't like to think of it like that way though, because yes, I could say that like, oh, I was raised by a single mother who we were on government assistance our whole, like the whole regular thing. But that's just like, okay, like yes, people might look at me with a little bit more like, okay, well, he's okay to act like this. But I also feel almost even more shitty being able to have people look at me. I've always been against the grain type of thing. I want to be looked at rather as like he had a shitty upbringing, so he's allowed to be a shitty person type of thing. Versus I want it to be like, yeah, I had a shitty upbringing, which taught me the adversity. It's ironic that you guys kind of say that because a lot of times like I'll tell my life story to people and they're like, I am so sorry. I'm like, I'm not.
Yeah, no.
Because everything that happens to me taught me how to be who I am today. And for me, it is like I put all of my grace in God with the fact that I am who I am today. I could have gone down that path, but God gave me the ability to have this mentality, to be able to use my adversities, like the amount of people that I've helped from things like suicide, because they're like, I have depression and nobody around me understands and they don't understand what it's like to have depression. I'm like, I understand those thoughts that you're having right now. I have them too.
That's my whole fucking MO, dude. Like, that's my whole purpose in life right now. Forever now is like, if I can save one person from going through the pain that I went through by sharing like my experiences, like it will make it all worth it.
Absolutely.
I would go through it again just to save one person from not having to feel it.
Well, that's why I strongly believe in the everything happens for a reason type of thing, because good or bad, I do believe like when you're going through adversity or bad things, there's a lesson to be learned there. There's things to carry on, to be able, whether it's a lesson for yourself or a lesson to teach others, there's always something there.
It's very hard to see that lesson that you're learning when you're in the storm.
Yeah.
Like when you're in it, oh yeah, this happened. It's all good. I'm gonna learn a lesson from it. Like, no, that's not how I think. I'm like, this fucking sucks, man. And then like maybe like a year later or something, I'll be like, oh shit, I guess it was worth it. Like it was I'm glad I went through that.
But that's the mentality to kind of take from it. Like when you're going through shit, to be like, you know what? I don't know the lesson right now that I'm supposed to be learning, and for me, like as a man of faith, I know that there will be something. Maybe it's not going to be something acknowledged until 10, 20, 30 years in the future, but I will look back on the situation and be like, if this didn't happen, then this wouldn't have happened, and this wouldn't have happened. And therefore, I wouldn't be where I am today.
There are points, though, where I'm like, can you just give me a break, though?
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Like, I've learned enough right now,
Yeah.
I don't need more.
Well, yeah, there's things I definitely would have, could have gone without them happening.
Yeah,
it would have been okay.
Right? I would have been fine without that.
But actually, hold on. Sorry. Maybe not, because that maybe needed to happen for me to become what I'm going to become or what I am.
Yeah.
And like, so maybe I hope at one point in my life I'll be able to look back and I'll be able to say I'm glad all that shit happened.
Absolutely.
I'm not there yet, but
Well, and you're still a young guy. It could, like, I've known people that are like, this happened when I was 20, and it took me until I was 50 or 60 to understand the reasoning for this happening. It took years of contemplation, reanalyzing the situation, seeing the outcome of what actually happened, and then realizing that, like, if I didn't do this, this outcome wouldn't have happened. I can try to lie to myself all I want and say, oh, I would have learned that lesson no matter what. Like, no.
Yeah.
The way you learn from life is by experiencing life. You can't learn just hypothetically or trying to just be like, oh yeah, blah, blah, blah. Like, we don't learn that way. We learn through experience.
man, I just think some of these lessons so tragic. We're probably only going to realize them like at our moment of death. Like on our deathbed, we're going to be dying. It'll be like, oh, that's why that happened.
Yeah.
Like, fuck,
That's
man.
true,
Like,
it's so true.
But diving into the correlation I see with you guys both did grow up like
privilege.
I had a very great childhood.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. It's true. I didn't lack for anything. I didn't know what problems were literally at all. Until my dad got really sick, honestly. Like, I went to college, I did the whole thing. I went to high school, graduated, went to college, graduated, did the whole family thing. And then when my dad got sick and passed away, everything.
fuck. Sorry.
Are you serious, dude? He's supposed to.
alarm to leave soon. I
He's
have
supposed to
15
be the
minutes.
professional one here.
We have 15 minutes left.
Yeah. That's a 15
Um,
minute.
Sorry, we might have to do a part 2 of this one.
Yeah.
I think we
so
are we
we-
gonna dive into
No, I
your
don't
whole
think we
story
should
right
then.
now?
No,
No,
we
because
can't.
that's a whole. I'm gonna ask questions.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, let's do that next time. But I just wanted to say, like, the correlation of, like, I don't like the storyline of someone can act shitty because they had a shitty childhood.
Right.
Because I grew up really well, and people have the same opinion of me that, like, oh, you're shitty because you had a good life, and it's like, we all have our own experiences, and we have our own, like, because people don't know that my dad passed away and that my entire
Right.
life got destroyed when that happened. And so when people tell me that, like, I shouldn't feel bad because I had a good life, it's like, you have no, like, you still have your dad. Your dad is still alive, technically. Like, you
Right.
could fix things with him, and I will never, ever, ever have that. And so that's what frustrates me a lot with that storyline of, like, I don't know. For me, I don't know what abandonment is, like, when they're actually still alive, you know? But in the, like, you can never, ever heal it.
Well, that's a whole-
Shit,
that's a
that's like the
whole different
ultimate
thing.
abandonment.
Yeah, like-
what do you even call
Like,
that?
there's no physical way to have their presence in your life
Ever.
anymore.
Oh my
ever
god,
again.
bro.
So
That's
that's-
the worst, dude. You
Which-
do anything to have a fucking one moment with that person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to see their face again. And
That's
Which
what's
I
so
haven't
annoying to
really
me.
Had that. Like,
Oh,
my parents are still both alive.
Yeah.
So,
So you can fix it. That's why I said to you too, is like, you have, like, just moments with your family.
Right.
And so, like, that goes to the conversation of, like, is blood really that important? Like, you know, but in the case that you do love your parents, like, go visit them, you know, at some
Yeah.
point sometime soon, you know what I mean? Because I would love to have 30 seconds with my dad.
Yeah.
I know. I'm so stupid. Because I know they're going to die.
Yeah.
And I'm going to regret not taking advantage of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And here I am still wasting the time.
Yeah.
And it's
Well-
like, do I want to just be in pain? Do I want to, like, be sad the rest of my life? Like, why don't I do the things I know I need to do
Right.
to avoid, like, total pain? Like, it's going to be hard either way. But, like,
yeah.
And that's why, like, I don't carry actual resentment towards either one of my parents. Like, I don't ever, like, if they call me or something, I'll still answer. I'll still try to have civil conversations. I'll always try, because I know there will come that day of, like, I don't want to sit on their deathbed or something and be like, I really wish that I would have just said fuck it and just listened, just had that phone call with you. Like,
Yeah.
put away my pride, my feelings, my bullshit about the past. Like, let the past be the past,
Yeah.
and be able to be present in that. Like, does it hurt when I talk to my parents? Yes, it fucking hurts a
Yeah.
lot. Does it hurt, like, when I talk to my mom, like, she had a stroke, so she's not able to remember a lot from my childhood? Does it hurt that I'm the only one that has to relive a lot of that shit and has to do all that? Yes. But I also know that future me is going to look back on this present me and say, fucking talk to her.
Yep.
Just talk to her.
Yeah, you should, because literally I tell everyone all the time, like, find out what they smell like, what they put on as like perfume or whatever, so you
Yeah.
can buy it later. Like, I don't know what my like Dodge shaving cream was, and I miss his smell, you know.
Yeah.
I used to have a voicemail on my old phone, and like it broke, and so I don't have a voicemail anymore, and I don't know what he sounds like anymore. And like I would just wish that I could hear his voice, because he was kind of like not mad at me, but I was like spending so much more time at work than hanging out with him when he was sick.
Right.
Because I had to. I thought that I had to and whatever. And I ended up at the very end quitting my job to spend 2 weeks with him when he was really, really sick at the end. But looking back at it now, like, why did I go to work ever? You know, I should have just moved into my brother's house with him and like spent all the time I could. But in society, it's like, no, you work even if your dad's dying.
Yeah.
And I would highly recommend not going to work. Like, just quit your job and spend time with your family, because you'll never get it back.
How stupid am I? I could go fucking this microphone. I could go fly with my family right now.
Yeah.
I go to the plane. Like, I wouldn't have to work. I could be with them for years.
Yeah.
And just spend every day with them.
Mm-hmm.
I could go take them to a different country. We could go on vacation. And I don't even fucking do it.
Yeah.
And it's like,
I mean, you can't really feel it until it happens.
well,
You know?
okay, that's what I wanted to say. That stuck with me so hard. When we were talking about it one day, you said, it'll never be enough time.
Yeah.
No matter what, you'll never be enough time with your parents.
Yeah.
And it's like, so why, like, yeah, I mean, I'll try to get as much time as I can.
Yeah.
But if it's like, I don't even take advantage of the time that I could, and then it's already not going to be enough time.
Yeah.
Like, bro, what am I doing to
But then you get in your head with that thought of like, but you don't want to be a disappointment to them. And is it like, you don't want to feel that emotion either, so that's what keeps you away.
I do.
But
I avoid them because I don't want to feel the
honestly,
pain.
I would love for my dad to yell at me. I would rather have him mad at me than my
Not be
sister.
there.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Goes in the whole, like, rather loved and then lost than not loved at all. Like,
Yeah, literally.
All of our alarms are going off, so we're gonna
I
do
know, I
a
have
part
to
2.
go.
we just got like 7 more topics.
No,
right
literally.
there. Like,
Okay, so we talked about my attachment and abandonment issues, yours. Now it's time to dive into yours.
Oh, God. I don't even know what to say, to be honest. Where do I even start?
So we kind of mentioned a bit of how we attach to men versus women, where a lot of it kind of stems from, and a lot of the upbringing. So I know that you guys have a bit more of a similar upbringing in the sense of a bit more of a stable family, financially good, seemed like good childhoods. There wasn't a lot of
on paper, yeah.
on paper,
Right.
yeah. There wasn't a lot
That's
of
true.
turmoil.
Okay.
So I'm curious then where your attachment issues kind of stem from in the sense of what you deal with today.
Okay. Yeah, my thing was like, everyone says their abusive childhoods and stuff, like,
Yeah.
and how that's what caused them to have all these issues. Mine didn't start till I was 22.
Okay.
So I didn't have like a bad childhood. Mine started at 22.
Okay.
And
your
that's
attachment issues or your abandonment?
my both, honestly.
So they like coincide, same
Yeah.
time frame? Okay.
Yeah. Well, I guess my attachment issues started because my mom wasn't really around. She worked all the time and she was out of town all the time. And so I like wanted her attention. And she was, yeah, like, so that was probably younger. I was probably like 9 when that started. But my abandonment issues really started when my dad passed away and I was 22. So, I don't even, so like basically to stem to how my attachment issues bother me now is like, I'm constantly looking for guys that remind me of my dad. And so like when I attach really, really fast if they do remind me of my dad. And so I get really anxious and like need validation all the time that they're not going to leave.
So definitely getting into that anxious attachment
Yeah.
style.
Yeah, because like I'm like, my dad left, so like
Yeah.
that connection of like, don't leave me. And so then that bothers them and then they end up leaving.
Oh my god. Jesus. Well,
It's
literally-
awful, dude.
No,
I hate
it's
that.
I get it though.
Yeah.
I understand.
The thing though with like being like finding a lot of people don't understand that when we are looking for a partner, we're biologically engineered to look for somebody that is similar to our parents.
Yeah.
Like I look for somebody who reminds me of my mother.
Mhm.
And that's one of the reasons why in a lot of relationships I've gone for a lot of those toxic traits, because I go for a
Right.
lot of the personality stuff that my mother raised me with. And so for you,
Yeah.
it does make sense, the fact that like you go for this.
Yeah, someone that like
Yeah,
can take care of things, really. I mean, that's just like what every female wants, is
Right.
someone that can like actually take care of them and things like that. And guys lie all the time, by the way. I mean, girls lie too, but like we all lie. We all lie. But
what do they lie about?
like that they can like take care of me, and that they can like, if someone can work on my car, that's like for me.
Well, I guess
Well, okay, so you're
Yeah.
hoping these guys have some sort of benefit to you in other like facets of your life.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, you can't blame them. Well, it's not the right thing to do, but they may
Yeah.
want to make you think they can contribute in other ways to be able to be with you.
Yeah.
So
I
it's
mean-
like if you're putting this pressure, not pressure, but like making them feel like they need this
Yeah.
asset.
Right. Well, my thing is like people get really intimidated by me because like my career is like seems bigger than it is, I think.
I mean, you're pretty much a big deal.
Yeah.
Like-
And like on paper, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they like feel like they have to like be better than me and like provide more than I can.
But that's also another biological engineering type of, not biological engineering, but
Yeah, like society
yeah.
wants guys to
I mean, since the dawn of ages, men were the providers. Men
Yeah.
were men were the ones that were the breadwinners. The women were the homemakers,
Right.
and so like we naturally have the inclination. Like it works out because I have a similar thing with that. But it works out for me because I have the natural inclination to take care of,
right.
and so that's like the.
But that means you're looking for a female that's not doing better than you. You know?
yes and no. It
Yeah.
depends. Like there's different areas. Like for you, you don't really need someone career wise to take care of you, or
Well,
like
yeah.
financially. You
Right.
have your own finances, which is one of the biggest things that women go for. You want more of that fatherly type of taking care of.
Yeah.
Someone to check your car, someone to
Yeah.
check your tires or whatever.
That's got to be tough for you though, because you are kind of the breadwinner,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
compared to a lot of these people. But then you still want the father, like
Yeah.
one that's even more providing. So
Yeah.
it's not super easy for a lot of people to do.
Yeah, and that's where I know going into it that they're going to start feeling inadequate. And like it sucks because they always do. And I talk to them about it in the beginning. I'm like, I give people 30 days now.
Oh my god.
No, I
30
swear.
days.
No, I swear. Because like the last like couple of guys that I've like started dating, I'm like, they've left by day 30. And so now it's a rule for me. I'm like, don't like start like really caring for me. Like we're not even going to think about being exclusive because within 30 days, you're going to not want to be with me anymore.
Just be on the lookout for her book, guys. 30-day dating program by Kayla.
Honestly, I don't have like a specific number, but I have a similar thing with like 3 months ish of date, like adult dating, not like dating as in exclusivity, but
Yeah.
going on dates, hanging out, because of that tendency to wear the rose-colored glasses
Right.
very early on and be almost blinded by this initial euphoric feeling from whoever you're with.
Yeah.
This like a natural like love type of thing of
Right.
like, oh, you do this, I'm super enamored by you.
It's kind of weird because like I want that,
Yeah.
but then I'm like terrified of it too because I mean they're just gonna leave every time, So I don't want to like start loving them
Well,
either.
yeah, the abandonment of your father, like him just departing from your life at such a like important time.
Yeah.
Well, it's always going to be hard either way, but that's going to weigh heavy on you though, because you don't want to have to experience those same feelings again.
Yeah.
And so it's like, man, how do you get attached fully to anyone when the person you love the most, your father, it left you.
Yeah.
Well, you know, not
Yeah.
his choice, but he's gone.
Yeah.
And
it's
like,
hard. It's hard because like I do feel the same hurt again. Actually, now that you say that, because I like there was like this dude in November that I like really just fell for him really badly, and when he left, it was like so traumatizing. It was really bad. It took me like
I
a few
remember
months.
that.
It took me a few months to get
And
over
you didn't
him.
even like get to meet him in person either.
No, I never met him, so that's so stupid of me. But
it was the words. It was like
yeah,
the emotion that was behind it. And
yeah,
I feel like that, like, for you, it's a different thing. Like, as someone who might physically attach themselves to somebody, that's going to be different than the emotional attachment you have to somebody.
yeah,
The emotional attachment is really what hooks its teeth in. Versus,
right.
like, the physical one, like, not to say that, like, sex doesn't mean anything to you, but it's much easier to, quote unquote, like, smash and dash
Right.
than it is to actually get emotionally
true.
attached to somebody.
It's Luber and Uber.
I haven't heard that one before. But,
my
I
God.
mean, and that's not to say anything about, like, you being, like, a whore or anything
Yeah.
like that. It's just kind of part
That's
of it.
true.
But it's also, I feel like that's reality with me. I've gained the ability to have physical interaction with somebody and not gain that attachment, but
See, I can't really actually. I've been getting better about
Yeah.
it because it's. I mean, I don't really want to talk about it, but this like dude, the last dude that I actually told, I never told anybody else about the 30-day limitation, but this last guy, and on day 28, he was like, "I can't handle this." And I
Yeah.
was like,
Well,
"Okay."
yeah, you're putting
Do
a
you-
lot of pressure on
No,
these
I
guys.
wasn't putting pressure on him. Like I was.
Well, if
what
they
kind of
don't make the
pressure do you-
30-day cut,
did you
like,
tell him
oh,
about the 30-day thing before the 30 days?
Yeah, because he wanted to be exclusive on like day 4.
So do you think at somewhere there was some sort of self-fulfilling prophecy type of...
That it was just gonna happen.
Yeah,
before
like
it-
you almost were kind of anticipating something that hadn't happened yet already kind of happening.
oh my
Yeah, so
God.
maybe next time I won't tell them about the 30 days, but like even it was the red flag even of like on day 4 he wanted to be exclusive too. It's like
But-
you don't know me well enough.
Even though having that specific 30-day rule for yourself,
Yeah.
I feel like there might be a possibility, and this is obviously just my own opinion on it, of some sort of self-fulfilling prophecy being put in place of like you're waiting for them to fuck up. You're waiting for that 30 days to be like, where's your red flags? Where's your fuck ups? And so every little thing you're looking for in a way.
You're looking
Well-
for differences when you should be looking for similarities.
I mean, I'm so like positive about it though. Like I want them to do well. And I'm not putting pressure on them. Like I literally talk them through like you don't have to be financially better than me. I'm here for the journey. Like
Yeah.
don't feel like you have to like choose a different life. But it's actually that's not true. That's
yeah,
not
you
true.
say that, but then you like
Because but like I started off being like I have a big life. I'm going to have a lot of things and like I'm
Yeah.
going to get there. And so if you want to have a more simple life and like a stay-at-home mom and like all this crap, like leave now. And then they don't leave.
oh man, Kayla,
Yeah.
Kayla, you can't
I mean,
put
what
this
am I supposed to
ultimatum
do?
on the relationship before you
It's-
even get to know
Yeah,
the
I feel
guy.
like it's one of
Like,
those like you have to kind
But
of
they have to know.
about the 30 days?
No, not the 30 days, but like that I'm like
Well,
not
there's-
gonna be a stay-at-home mom.
There's
like,
a difference between setting expectations and immediately pushing people away because like you never know exactly what the future holds. And like obviously you can say like here's what I expect for my future. If that's something that you're completely like you don't align with at all,
Yeah.
you're not open-minded to anything, then yes, like
Yeah.
maybe this isn't the thing. But when I'm speaking with women, and like I'm in that kind of talking phase, and like the subject of kids comes up, and they're like, "Do you want kids?" And I'm like, I don't know what that person 5 years from now is going to think, his psychology, what his situation is going to look like.
Right.
Do I love kids? Yes,
Yeah.
I want kids of my own. I want to be able
It's
to
not
mentor
right
kids.
now.
But in this moment, I don't.
Yeah.
However, like, and that's why it's like that. I like if I was financially able to support kids right now, yes, I'd be fine being a
Me
father.
too.
fine
but-
with it? Would you want it?
I mean, that
You would if you had the money.
Yeah. Like
you
if
would
I,
want to be a father right now if you had
Yeah.
the money.
I would
Yeah.
too.
I'm
would
at
wanna
You
that
want to be a
father.
father? Whoa.
like I'm at that point of like if I could financially afford it, I think that like it wouldn't be the end of the world if I became a father. But having that initial conversation with them, I have to remain open minded of like I don't like there was one girl that I was talking to and we were kind of talking about like adoption versus natural born or biological born or however you want to say it. And I was like, I don't know. Like I'm not
Yeah.
going to cross that bridge until we get to it.
Right.
Am I against anything? No.
Yeah.
But I don't know what future me is going to think of like, oh, I don't want adoption or I only
Yeah.
want adoption. Like,
For me, it's like, I don't want to be a single mom either.
yeah.
So, like, I have an issue where, and this is going to sound so conceited and I'm so sorry, but like, it happens to me is like, guys like fall in love with me really fast and like love bomb the shit out of me and like want kids right now. And so that's why I say, it's just my age, like
I was gonna say, I think it has to do a little bit with
like
where
people
you
are
are in
older,
life.
like they're in their 30s, they want to like get married and have kids.
I mean, they also see, little gold mine, though. Put a baby in her, keep her around.
I know. And so luckily I have the choice myself to not have their kid if I wanted to.
Yeah.
But, like you guys have a different story and we don't have to go into that right now. But like that's why I'm like so upfront about it because they're so upfront about it and they like fall in love with me right away. And like this dude was on day 4 wanted to be exclusive and I'm like, for me, it's like next time I'm dating somebody actually like I want to build a life with them. And so like how on day 4 do you want to already have my kids? You don't know my red flags. Like
how soon into your relationships do you make them kind of aware that you have abandonment issues and that you lost your father at a young age and that this might manifest in a way that affects the relationship?
pretty fast, like within a week.
Okay.
Yeah. Just so like I don't want to waste time. But then, yeah, like you're saying that I'm manifesting that it's going to end soon, but like I'd rather them know about it and like work through it with me
I think
than
there's
not.
also
I have that same issue.
Yeah.
Literally, I'll have like a premonition and like whatever I don't want to happen literally will happen. And it's because like I bring it into fruition through my overthinking and my anxiety.
It's what you're looking for.
And stopping to be authentic when it's like, that's all I want is this thing. And I don't get it because I want it. And it's like, how do I not care about something that I care about? Like that I want. It's like, how do I just put all that emotion aside? And
I feel like you shouldn't though, but like that might be how we're failing.
Well, I adjust myself in ways for that person to like that I think that they'll like more. So I hope they like me more.
Yeah.
When in reality, when I do those things, that makes them like me less because I'm being less authentic and true.
When you were asking about like, do you tell them about, oh, I have these abandonment issues, blah, blah, blah. I feel like that in itself is a self-fulfilling identity because you're telling them like, hey, I'm fucked up in this way and there's nothing that like I'm doing to heal it, but you just have to deal with it instead of like, hey, but like
that's not true.
I feel like in some ways like subconsciously there is a truth to like, by the way, I have abandonment issues. So you're basically accepting yourself that like, hey, by the way, this is kind of just the certain things that
it's like you go to NA meetings and you're like, hi, I'm an addict. It's like you say it enough times, you start to believe it. And it's like, that's who you are. It's your identity. It's like, no, you're not that person.
Right.
It's just one of your facets of your personality.
But how I bring it up is like, sorry, I just projected my insecurity onto you. I'll try not to.
Which in those kind of instances, it's okay if you have identified in that action of what you did of like, hey, in this certain instance or in this certain event of us talking of our fight, here's where I realized I fucked up.
Yeah.
But that's different than like just out of nowhere being like, hey, before we get into a relationship together, by the way, I have daddy issues.
I don't say that.
I have abandonment issues.
I don't have daddy issues.
Well, just like anything like that.
Like, what's the definition of daddy issues? Just because my dad passed away doesn't mean I mean, I don't know. Like, what is the definition of daddy issues?
Dude, I wish I knew because I want to say like almost every female has daddy issues.
Oh yeah, they're
like I have daddy issues too. I'm not a female. Like I have issues with my dad more than I have with my mom. So I mean, like
my only issue is that he's not around anymore. Like it makes me really sad. Like also when I think about someone that I like want to build a family with is like if I get married, like my dad's not gonna be there to walk me down the aisle.
So
and that fucks me up a lot.
according to Google, it
Okay.
says daddy issues is a colloquial term referring to psychological or behavioral patterns stemming from a strained or absent relationship with one's father, potentially leading to challenges in relationships, trust, and self-esteem.
Fuck.
I mean, that's like
We all three have daddy issues.
That's like everybody, dude.
Yeah.
Like, it's very rare. I feel like my sister's the only one that doesn't have daddy issues.
Yeah.
Like,
She will.
But I feel like
no, well, she's older now.
Okay.
She's older than me, so
I think it's just like
Okay.
that
hopefully they don't.
relationship of like how you are towards men. Like
Yeah.
I feel like I have mommy issues. I
Mm.
didn't have that stable mother type of figure that was able to be like that mentor type of. Or
And
like
so
that.
in your attachment style, you look for not stable women.
Exactly. I look
But that's
for,
not what you want.
No, but that's what I'm psychologically attracted to because that's what I grew up with.
I don't know if
Is
you lose.
consciously or subconsciously?
I think it's a subconscious, like that's what I immediately like gear towards. Consciously, I understand that that's not a healthy thing to go for, so I have to get it. I have to be like, okay, are these issues something that I can like? Is that relevant to the
Mhm.
situation right now? Is this woman that I am seeing displaying these personality type of issues that are displayed from my childhood?
So how do we change this?
When you're having these thoughts, a good way to change this is like make sure there's no cognitive distortions going on. So you can ask yourself when you have like analyzing a situation, is this how I feel? Is this what I think? Because those are two different things. And in order for you to make sure there's no cognitive distortions in your thought processes, those need to align.
Yeah.
So like when you have a thought, for instance, let's give him an example. Where you feel like, so, I'm sorry, give me an example. Help me with this.
I'm
Well,
a
I've-
horrible person to
Like
ask.
through time, like I've developed my own ways of combating these attachment styles and the way that I get attracted to a woman.
Okay.
Like I've combated that in my own ways, which is when I meet a woman and I'm attracted to them, like a previous me would have just jumped immediately right into a relationship. Would have just been like, cool, let's be a thing, boom. But lately, I've taken this step back of like, okay, so what does a healthy relationship look like? When I see a healthy relationship, I take notes of like, how do they communicate to each other?
yeah.
How do they show love to each other? How do they fight? How do they do everything? And I've gone in to see like, okay, well, in these unhealthy relationships that I've had that have shown these personality traits that are considered toxic, here's how we fight. They say this and they don't take accountability, or they play the victim card every single time. Me like saying that like you did everything, I didn't do anything. There's multiple different things that I'll go through and see like, okay, well, how do they look at themselves? Are they consistently putting themselves down in order to get attention? Are they
That's why I have the 30-day limit, because you can't find out about that until
But,
like 30
like, I
days
don't
in.
put-
I think you need to like make a Kayla 30 dating 2.0 because like I think you should not even want to ask a person any of this information until after 30 days. I think the first 30 days should
What do
be
you? Yeah.
purely getting to know the person.
Yeah.
Don't divulge any of this like heavy information on it.
Well, how do you get to know them if you don't say those things?
well,
Nothing like
I don't like the
Like
thought
what?
of having a specific time frame on
This is new, okay? Like this was like brought on with this last guy.
I don't personally like just 30 days because if you
It was-
do end up connecting with somebody, like I don't know, 30 days to me is just too much of a self-fulfilling type of thing.
Well, I mean, I can't get it out of my head now. Like I'm gonna literally just wait. Next guy, I'm gonna not say anything. I'm going to try to get it out of my head, and I mean, I can't because I'm gonna still count, and
you-
he's gonna leave
Do you
before
know
30.
what toxic traits in relationships you're generally attracted to? Like
Doesn't have a job.
why do girls like
Dude,
dirtbags so much?
I just
like,
attract that.
no, I like when I was a dirtbag, I got
Oh, yeah.
so many more girls.
oh,
Like,
Yeah.
when
it's
I
crazy.
was
I don't know.
considered in society as a fuckboy,
Yeah.
I was pulling left and right.
No, you were, dude.
Fuck you.
but like it doesn't make any sense because I'm looking for somebody that can provide for me, but I'm attracted to guys that can't.
But what if, okay, say you become infatuated with this guy and you're just like in awe over him. Would all those other traits that you're looking for go out the window then and not be relevant if you just love this guy with like his personality, his looks?
Yeah, I
his-
think that's what I do now, and that's why I fail all the time.
I'm
Because I'm here for the journey. Like, if you're a good person, then I'll like, I don't mean like, I don't know a different way to say it, but like, I'll help you in your life, like, get to a point where we're like building together, you know?
You're like, I don't got time to waste, guys. I need to figure this out
I
real
want
quick.
somebody, you
There's a
know?
pattern
Like,
there.
fuck.
I know that there's a pattern because for me, I recognize the different patterns, especially in the women that I was choosing. Not to say that I was perfect at all. I obviously knew that I had my flaws, but I was noticing very specific patterns of like, each girl I date has this type of tendency. So for you, I'm curious about like, obviously there's some of these dirtbags don't have jobs or
Yeah.
that don't have these certain things. We know that that's not what you're attracted to. You're not attracted to the fact that they don't have a job.
Right.
What things do you know of that they kind of share that is attractive? Like, are they love bombing you? And so that's
Yeah.
why, because for someone who doesn't have a job, they see you as a gold mine. So yeah, they're gonna
Yeah.
love bomb the shit out of you and be like, hey, I'm Prince Charming. I don't have a job right now, but I have like this whole thing. I'm here for the ride for you. For
I
you,
know.
those are the golden.
Fuck.
This is
things.
great how it's just two guys and one girl just
Well,
drilling her.
I mean, I need this help right now because, like, I'm sick of people leaving, so I don't know what to do. Because, I mean, I believe them when they love bomb me because they're lying in order to, like, get in with me. And so then, like, I try to hope that they're not lying and that's who they are.
What's your reaction when they love bomb you? Is it immediately like, okay, well, let's slow down, or is it like, okay, like feeding into it?
At first, like, thank God for this in November, dude, because I fed into it completely and
Yeah.
believed everything he said. And then he just disappeared on, like, 3 weeks in. That's where I have this limitation now.
Oh,
But-
so this guy, did he create some more abandonment issues
Oh,
with
absolutely.
you just based in your relationships now, your
Yeah.
dating life?
Yeah.
So now you have abandonment from another guy, but specifically due to your dating.
Yeah.
So you have father abandonment and dating abandonment.
Yeah. But I think it helped me in that sense because when people love bomb me now, I'm more prepared. And so it's like when they love bomb me on day 4 and they will want to get married and have kids and let's be exclusive right now, I'm like, no. You know,
Well, in those
like,
kind of
stop.
instances, those are definitely like you hit the block button and say, go get some psychological help.
Well, I mean, okay, so then that's when I feed into it because I want someone to like me that much.
But not that quick. Like, if someone is going to come in immediately, day one, and be like, I love you so much, let's get married, blah, 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 they
Yeah.
have their own attachment issues that
For
they
sure.
aren't aware of. And you're feeding into that, therefore creating that whole thing. Versus, like, in a healthy relationship, there is some space apart. And I'm not saying, like, I'm the guru of love.
Yeah.
But in a healthy attachment, like, you don't, like, the whole love at first sight thing, yes, like, you're attracted to them and you might love their personality, but I feel like a lot of people have to take some time to realize if they're in love with that person or if they just love certain aspects about them, because unless you
Yeah.
do go over everything, like, I mean, obviously, love today is so much of kind of a fucked up thing in our society, especially with our
So
generation.
fuck.
But
yeah, it's hard.
I don't know. I feel like it's definitely just different based off of everyone's situation.
Is it how you feel
Yeah.
or is it what you think when you love these people?
See, my problem is that like I never listen to my brain, I think. It's just all about feeling. But okay, so in my anxious attachment, I need validation. And so like I like that they're love bombing me
Mm-hmm.
because they're validating me over and over and over to like the most excessive scale.
So in that instance, then you have to find the depiction of what is healthy
They could be
affirmation.
gas lamping you.
Well, yeah, all
Just-
day.
Like you,
Because they don't even know what they're saying.
because there's differences in words of like that's not necessarily words of affirmation. That's just feeding into a certain type of like words of affirmation for me are something like you're doing so good type of stuff.
Well, that's what they say to me.
Oh yeah,
That they're proud of me.
they're gassing.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
gassing you.
The proud of me thing.
Yeah.
I never really got that as a kid. Like, from either of my parents, because like me and my dad never had to say "I love you" to each other because I already knew that he loved me.
Yeah.
Didn't he like never say he loved you or something?
Yeah, he never did, but I didn't need him to.
Because he
So,
showed it in other ways.
Yeah, he showed it to me, and like we even said it when I got older. It was like he was like, "You do know that I love you, right?" Like he noticed that he never said it, and I
Yeah.
was like, "Yeah, you don't need to say it."
Words mean nothing anymore.
Yeah.
Like it's action.
Yeah,
for sure.
and so like I don't need that necessarily, but like it was mainly my mom. Like she was just like so critical about us like doing a really good job that I never really got like a "I'm proud of you." And like literally after the first podcast we did, when I like opened up about my bipolar and stuff, both my mom and brother watched it, and like I didn't think
Oh.
that they would.
Wait. Parents can watch these?
Well, yeah, but like I didn't think that they would because they don't really like they haven't watched things I've done in the past,
I
and
wonder
so
if-
of course they watched this one
I
out of all
know, I was like,
But they both told me in the last 2 days that they were proud of me, and I was like,
That makes me wonder then if your words of
this is
affirmation.
therapy. It's literally it's
is.
therapy. It's helping you. It's helping your. Oh man.
yeah.
It's amazing.
And so I'm really glad about that.
I wonder then, because did your mom show love to you in other ways besides where, like, obviously she didn't tell you she was proud of you and all that kind of stuff. Did she show her love to you in other ways like your father did?
Yeah, my parents were like, because they had such like hard childhoods themselves, that they like did everything that they wish that their parents did. And so like one thing my dad did was like for my basketball games, he went to every single one of them because his dad never went to any of his, even out of town ones. Like my dad drove like 2.5 hours to one of my basketball games once. For my mom, she would always like volunteer for field trips and stuff because she knew she was out of town all the time, and so when she was in town, she would show up too.
That makes me curious
You know?
then if there's more abandonment issue than from your mother, in the sense that you at least felt the sense of love from your father through his actions.
Yeah,
But for your mom, not only did the words of affirmation not show itself, but there was no other substitution there.
yeah,
So there was always some sort of absent form of love from her. So I'm wondering then
yeah,
if the abandonment or anxious attachment style then is less from your father and more from your mother, since you didn't get it at all from her. Like,
yeah,
that nurturing part that you're supposed to get from your mom of this chemical reaction from
Yeah.
like an early age and stuff. Like the mom is supposed to be the emotional support, the
right.
nurturer, the one that you're supposed to go to for cuts and boo-boos and
Yeah.
and the caring and stuff.
So
Like,
speaking of that, okay, sorry to interrupt
Yeah.
you, but I had to go to therapy in order to like get back into my family. They like forced me to go to therapy, and
Whoa.
no, it was wild.
Okay.
I'm glad that I did though, because the therapist, when I was with my mom, I thought he was just gonna like attack me the whole time, and he actually like switched it up on my mom. But he explained it to me in this way, where I was expecting, after my dad passed away, my dad from my mom.
right.
And so I was so upset all the time that my mom wasn't giving me what my dad used to. And so he explained it of like my dad, like if I fell and scraped my knee, my dad was the one that would like scoop me up and be like, "You're okay, like it's okay." And my mom was somebody that would just go like get the like first aid kit, you know?
Okay, so there was a tiny bit of role reversal there.
Yeah.
In a way.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
And so like when I scraped my knee in like an adult life, my mom like she solves problems in a different way, and like I wanted to be picked up and like
Yeah.
cradled and stuff, and I never got that from her, and so I needed to like heal that expectation that I was never going to get that from her. And not it's like not fair to expect that from her when she never gave it to me in the first place.
So, are these issues affecting you still today? Because it's like we're adults. We had our past, we had our upbringing, but we're now conscious adults. We can make decisions. But, like, how do we get to a point in our life where we just can accept the past and just be the person we want to be without, like, having these things that weigh us down, that hold us back. Like, how do we free ourselves
I
from
think
this?
It's different for everyone. I've been able to do enough work on myself. I'm not cured of anything by any means, but I've done enough that I've been able to, like, I've been single now for 2 years, which
Whoa.
is the longest I've ever been single. But it's also like I would have jumped into a previous relationship had I not had that kind of recognition of I normally go for this. Instead of just trying to ignore those because I feel so much love and so much attention from this person, maybe I do need to give myself a little bit more time and kind of trust that gut feeling of like, I don't know if this is the right situation for me. And there was just a lot of self awareness that I had to get of like, okay, this is what I'm typically attracted to. Here's the kind of people that I typically go for. Here's the kind of situations I put myself in to meet these kinds of people.
I feel like I just did that though. Like in learning that not to like believe their love bombing, I was like, let's not get together on day 4. you
Yeah.
know, and like let's just like ride it out. And I said 30 days, but it's like I told him too, I was like, don't like ask me out on day 30 because that's just like
Yeah.
the original timeline that I'm saying, but like I'm not gonna on day 30 be like, yeah, let's get together and
Well, I
let's
think-
get married. Like what the
Make sure you're taking notes, guys. It's,
yeah, you know what?
I mean, this last situation I think was a drastic improvement from what you've previously like maybe you're not cured, but the fact that you didn't just jump into something with him regardless of love bombing shows that progress. Which
Yeah.
that's what we have to pay attention to. Not just
Right.
like, oh, you're cured overnight, but in like attachment comes in different forms. Physical, emotional, spiritual. There's a bunch of different forms of this attachment that you have to be aware of. For me, it was the sense of like, yes, not only do I emotionally get attached, but I allow for physical attachment to happen way too quickly. I had to force myself not to allow that, and that kind of immediately started rewiring stuff of like, okay, well, I have the wrong part of my body trying to think right now in a way, and so I have to
That's
ignore
gonna be
that.
hard for you
It's got a
guys.
mind of its own, I swear.
But even for you, I mean, yes, you told him 30 days. Yes, you told him that like you can't just jump into anything. But did you allow physical connection immediately?
Yeah.
And
That's
could-
really hard for me to not do.
I know, and that's where a lot more of the improvement comes in. Like, I still have the issue with that myself.
Yeah.
I'm nowhere near perfect. Have I been better? Yes, I've allowed for that small percentage of improvement to happen. I'm still not perfect. I still allow for immediate gratification to happen when I'm with somebody.
See, I can't. I like physically can't.
Yeah,
I
me
just
neither.
learned this recently. There's something called being a demisexual, and you literally can't like have sexual whatever
I
relationships.
thought that was asexual.
No, no. You have to have a deeper connection with the person to be
Oh.
able to have like
That's
sexual
so
acts.
nice. I
And
wish
like,
I had that.
yeah, well, it's not great actually, because you can't just because you'll be attracted to somebody, you'll be very like physically attracted to them, they'll be hot, but it's unless you feel that like deeper connection, like it doesn't work.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, and like,
Fuck.
'cause
Yeah, it's not great.
I grew up with a lot of, I guess you could say, sexual, whatever. Like I was very active in that sense, and that was like one of the first things. Like I would sleep with someone on day one type of situations, but getting myself into the sense of like instant gratification versus delayed gratification. If I sleep with them now, yes, it's going to be satisfying now, but I know in the long term it's going to damage what we have, because in a relationship, that is the ultimate trophy. When you're able to give all of you to somebody like that, that is the ultimate trophy. And so it's like, where do you want the gratification? Do you want smaller gratification now, or do you want that insane, like, we not only are we physically attracted to each other, but we've taken the time to allow it all to build up, to allow the emotions to build up and stuff. And now it's not just fucking. Now it's like we're intertwining our souls when we're making love. And like, even if it is like a religious thing with like getting no sex before marriage or whatever,
I could never do that.
but it's in that
What
sense.
if they suck?
Well, it's in that
I
sense
mean,
of like
if you
focusing.
both don't do it, then
But
you
you
both
don't
learn
know?
together.
And yes, there
And you can train the other person.
Well, in my opinion, it goes in the sense of like, are you focusing just on too much of the physical aspect of the sex then, or are you focusing on the mutual emotionalness when it comes to sex? Because I know for me, it was that kind of focusing too much on physical. I was like, oh, I need someone that can do this and this and this in bed. But then as soon as I did
Damn.
connect to somebody emotionally,
Yeah.
the sex between us changed insanely. It was like
Yeah.
there was so much more. We didn't have to go and do all this crazy shit in bed because of the fact that we had this true connection to each other.
I feel like for me, like people seem to like think that they know me beforehand, and like when they actually like meet me in person, they're just like it's solidified what they were thinking prior, and so they like are emotionally attached to me a lot faster, and so I get that immediately.
But that's when you kind of, I feel like, have to put your own boundary of like, you think you might know me, but like,
Yeah.
do you actually know me? Like, actually get to, like, it's not just about like, oh, they know my favorite color, they know my favorite food type of stuff. It's like a big test that I've seen is like, if you go to a restaurant, you go to the bathroom, can they order for you completely? I was like, fuck.
They
Okay.
have to know that like before we sleep together.
Well, no.
Fuck.
I mean,
I'm failing right now.
But it is.
I didn't know that.
well, that's like, I don't know. That
I mean,
might
that's
be a
too
little
much.
much
Yeah.
for
But, like-
you non-demisexuals, but
yeah.
But
like-
it's like, do you know each other's love languages, and can you guys feed into that before? Like, I purposely have now started to at least try my hardest to delay sex as much as possible.
God, why?
Because of that sense of like,
because it just, bro, it takes, if you go sex first, like it takes all the other things pretty much out of the
there's no
situation.
trophies
Okay.
to try. There's
Like-
no trophies to try to go for anymore.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
end goal is sex. You get
Yeah.
that first, and it's like, okay, well, this,
You've
God
gotten
damn it.
you've gotten the biggest part of your relationship out of the way already, so there's nothing to look forward to for the
And then
future.
that's why they always leave.
It could be. It could
Well,
be a
yes.
thing
I
of
should
more,
try
like,
this.
you want what you can have, and then
Yeah.
when you have it, it's no longer shiny and new.
like
Right.
every relationship
That
that
makes
I've
sense. Okay.
for me, every relationship that I've introduced sex immediately has ended very quickly because boredom happens. It's like, okay, well, we're doing the same positions every night. Now we're doing this.
Fuck that.
We try to experiment in certain ways, but now sex has just become a thing in our relationship. It's not like
Yeah.
the big thing that happens.
Dude, when a girl tells me she wants to have sex with me, and like I know she wants it, I am turned off so much, and I want nothing to do with her.
I've
How?
actually-
Why?
I've started to become very similar. Like
I don't, bro. It's because she's
Really?
easy. That means she's doing that to another guy probably
Okay.
another day, and she's not loyal, and she doesn't want to develop something deeper emotionally. Like,
What if she is loyal and she just likes you?
bro, I mean, that I can't believe that, because if she's giving it up so easy, so
Mm.
quick,
that's a very special part of herself. Like
Yeah.
whether it's a religious thing or not, it's still for me. If I meet a girl and immediately she's like, "Oh yeah, we can have sex already right away," for me, I'm like, "Well, there's still no buildup. I don't even know who you are as a person yet.
Mm.
Like you want this special thing to already happen. I can already see the relationship failing in 6 months because we're already bored of each other."
it's not special to these
No.
girls, though. No, I'm not trying to generalize or anything, but like, I feel like in our society nowadays, sex is not a special act. It's
Oh, no.
just carnal, and it's to get,
That doesn't happen for me.
what?
It's like they like fall in love with me immediately, and like like it's like great every time. Like I don't know how to
Well, I'm
explain
gonna tell
it.
you, men are very prominent to think with the wrong head very quickly, and they
Yeah,
will
but it's
do
like
what they need to.
passionate and like just different.
Because they
this
know
is,
that's
like,
what you
too
want.
much
Is it
information.
love or is it lust, though?
Yeah,
There's
because-
I mean, it has to be lust.
Yeah,
It is.
So it's
But-
not love. They're not in
but, like,
love with you. They're
but-
in lust with you.
Okay,
like
I'll take it.
when it comes
I'll
to
take it.
passionate, there's a difference between just like really just like being passionate in it and like love.
Passion in it. Passionate.
Oh my
Did
God.
you do that on purpose?
No, that was that.
You
was
literally just
accident.
created something.
That's so
Yeah, there we go.
interesting.
You have
But,
to
like-
have passion in it to be passionate.
But they
Like-
like want to get married, and they like get mad at me because I don't
Trademark.
want that. You should change it.
Yeah.
I'm sure someone else is.
I mean, obviously for you, like I said, it is a different thing because you're in a certain situation in life where, like, maybe for them, they just want to find a wife and a mom and blah, blah, blah. So they're like, cool, boom.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that they've found their soulmate, that they've found the person. For them, they're just like, oh, cool.
Well, that's the fight that we get into.
Yeah.
Which is like, I can't have kids right now because I have, like, my career is really hard and I have, like, a few more years to, like, grow enough where when I'm financially stable enough and then, like, I'm not going to get benched because I'm a mom now.
My advice
Could open
to
up
you,
doors too, though.
Like, what?
I mean, there's mother TV shows you can film.
I would say my advice to you
Yeah.
in this kind of situation, delay the physical as much as you can. I know it's going to be hard.
Yeah, it's going to be hard.
But that I personally think, and I'm going to put the prediction out, if you are able to delay that physical part,
I'll
your
get rid of people
philosophy-
faster.
Well, yeah, you'll filter.
You'll get rid
You'll
of
filter
yeah.
the bullshitters out,
Yeah.
but you'll also start feeling a certain type of way about yourself. You'll start feeling this more of like, they don't deserve that part of me just yet until they get this part of me. Like,
I've found,
Yeah.
and I'm not hating on you or anything, Kayla. I'm
Yeah.
not saying this is you, but a lot of females, they get their self-worth from validation from men.
oh yeah,
As far
That
as
is me.
especially sexually, like, oh, if I can get this guy to sleep with me, then like I feel better about myself. Like I must be a bad female because like I can get
well, and
like
that's actually
True.
one of the toxic things that I've seen in myself with my like I'm an approval junkie, but my biggest source of approval comes from women, and especially in the bedroom. I grew up a very underdog kind of person. I grew up very like short stature, just everything wasn't what all the women were looking for. So as soon as I was able to get it, as soon as I was able to actually start pulling the girls and stuff, so to say,
Yeah.
it was like I was able to get this drug I didn't have before, which was the approval. And for me, that's where like it played into sex a lot, to where I was like, if I can get them off in bed, that's going to be the approval. That's going to be the thing that I can outdo against every other man. I can get them off, and they're going to want me even more. So like I didn't even care usually about myself getting off. For me, my self-worth came from the fact of being able to get women off. And
Yeah, that's
that-
nice.
because for them, that's a new thing for them. They're like, oh, guys can't usually get me off. And I'd be like, bet, let me try. And then
Yeah.
they'd be like, no guy's ever been able to do that. And for me, I'm like, you're feeding this ego like
well,
hard.
it is a
Right.
good feeling.
Oh, it's an
That's
amazing feeling.
nice to know you can please a girl.
Yeah.
Like, so
But it wouldn't come from
Yeah.
like, I want her satisfaction as a partner. It'd come from just like, I get the approval of a female now.
Right.
Something that I didn't have in that way before. That's where it became the toxic thing, because I didn't have these emotional feelings towards these women. I didn't want to be with them.
Yeah.
For me, it was like, let's friends with benefits type of stuff. Let's like no emotion.
So you don't have that attachment style then. It's just like when you do like somebody that you have that.
Yeah, well, and that's where like the emotion, like when I do allow myself to become emotionally attached, is when that part,
Anxiousness
that
happens.
anxious, like if I've allowed myself to open up or be vulnerable enough to get attached in that way, that's where the anxiousness comes in, because then I'm thinking like, oh, there's a better guy.
So then
there's-
you don't allow yourself to get emotionally attached.
Not until I see that it's a healthy situation to do such.
Mm.
But that's where I try to pace it out. I try to make it to where we're getting to know each other. We're going on dates. We're talking. We're really deeply getting like we're saving the relationship stuff for a little bit further down the line. We're not sleeping together immediately. We're not immediately just going for a physical interaction. We're talking about the deep shit. It's not just like, that's
Yeah.
why I
talk
can't do the
about-
small talk.
I talk about deep shit like right away.
And that could also be another, like, depends on like what you're talking about as far as deep stuff.
Yeah.
If you're talking about beliefs and like what your goals and stuff are, that's one thing. But if you're talking about personal deep shit and like you're giving them almost the easy access of like, here's how I can get attached to somebody, words of affirmation, and like for them, they're programming in their head like, oh, so if I say I'm proud of you, if I say this,
Fuck.
you're gonna sleep
No.
with me.
Don't.
Yeah, they can like see that you're feeding into it and they
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
these certain things. Oh, I can keep doing that. But like the biggest thing I've learned lately from a relationship was I was letting my past relationships play a part on my present relationships.
Oh, absolutely.
It was I wasn't trusting because people in the past did things, and like I lost somebody that I really liked, and it was all because I couldn't get over my past relationship. So now it's like, now when I approach a situation, I give everyone a chance. I know it's can lead to more hurt, but it's like it also can ruin something that could be very great if I don't give them that chance and I let my past relationships play a part in all my future ones. Because it's like, not everyone's the same. Yes, many people are similar, many people aren't great, but like it will take away the chance to meet that one person that is great if you let your past affect you like that.
I'm curious for you, what's been your longest duration of being single? Like in your adult life?
Single. No booty calls.
No sleeping with people, just like single to where like you're, because I mean like
I don't want to answer this question.
And I know you always have some dude to text when you're lonely, so that I don't consider that not single. But.
Like I've technically been single for 2 years, but there was 1 or 2 girls that I was seeing for a little while. We didn't make it an official relationship,
but those count. Those count.
You're talking. If you're talking, I consider that not completely single. You have to be
I asked this because of the healing aspect.
I would say never then.
Because I asked that.
Because I go from like one person to the next.
Yeah.
I think that's what most girls.
Well, because we have like a list of like 1,000 people that are waiting.
Yeah, but what? Like, I get it. You're bored. It's entertaining to deal with these guys, but it's like, is there a deeper reason? Is it to get your validation, or is you doing it because it's just fun? And like you gotta ask yourself, really, what are you getting from all these guys?
I think the reason why it's so ingrained into me to like need their attention is because like I can use like my physical attractiveness to gain things. And so like I mean in my career, in the beginning of my career, like I had a boyfriend and like I never post my boyfriends ever so that people think I'm single so that they would hire me because they want me around. And so like that's changed now because I'm like big enough where I just get jobs anyways. But like really like I've realized in the beginning that I could, and not sharing that I had a boyfriend, like it made it easier for me to get on things and for people to want to teach me things and like.
Well, that's a deeper issue in the whole industry with females and like you guys trying to.
When you're with your last long-term relationship.
Yeah.
Was there those words of affirmations present and those like love languages present that kind of fueled you?
No.
So the reason why I was asking about the single thing is because of the aspect of healing. The fact that you were in this long-term relationship to where you are already not having your love buckets filled. They weren't feeding into the love languages that you needed. And therefore, now, like afterwards, if you were just jumping from guy to guy, maybe they were feeding into these love buckets of stuff that you weren't filled with, but artificially filling them.
Yeah, because
not in the way of
liars.
like, actually filling them, but in the way that like you've been lacking that in your previous relationship for so long that now you have all these guys that are willing to fill it like crazy, but not in the way that it needs to be filled.
Right.
Because that's like, I basically had to force myself to be single for a while. I've gone through periods of like not talking to any women, no dating apps, no nothing. That kind of thing was the hardest thing. 'Cause I'm used to girl to girl to girl to girl to girl, or at least trying to like put myself out there. And it was tough, but that's where I did come, like that's where a lot more of the self healing kind of came from. And a lot, like even some of like the girls that I've dated, they'll have been in a relationship for 5 or 6 years, and then they'll meet me, and then it'll be a thing of like, oh, I'm healed, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm curious what your healing journey has looked like. Was it therapy? Was it staying completely away from men? Was it like, how was it? And it's like, sometimes they'll say like, oh, I just enjoyed what I couldn't enjoy when I was single, meaning I went to clubs, I hooked up with people. I'm like, okay, so you didn't actually heal. Well, I'm not saying that you're doing
that.
But for me, like, there's that aspect of healing that people don't understand. Like, what does it mean to actually heal after a relationship?
Yeah.
Are you able to fill those buckets yourself that weren't being filled before? Like, with him?
Yeah.
your buckets were lacking. So now you're waiting for them to be filled by somebody else instead of figuring out how to fill it yourself in its own way.
Call me out.
I mean,
I'm calling myself out too because
You're
this is all the
calling
shit.
me out.
This is all the shit that has happened to me, and that's why like now I've been able to kind of, don't get me wrong, I'm still a words of affirmation person,
Yeah.
but I've also been able to realize that like the way I look at relationships is the king and queen level thing. I want the queen in my future, but I need to be a king myself in order to get that. For these people, are they kings or queens that I'm going for? No. Therefore, I'm not at that level.
That's where my like loving myself too much, because it's probably my bipolar and like my God complex is like I do feel like I'm worth it.
do you
like,
think you're worth it though?
yeah.
You think and you feel
Yeah.
that you're worth it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like there's also
But that's
some sort of, I don't want to say
Because-
my
artificial.
ego talking.
Yeah, well, and there's a difference between having ego and having self love.
Yeah,
Like-
I definitely don't love myself.
Do
I
you like yourself?
I like myself.
But you don't love yourself.
I love myself too, but like self care is lacking.
And that's where you need to show yourself that you love yourself. I know, like, as soon as I started really actually taking care of myself, as soon as I started like really diving down to the roots, that's when I started feeling a level of love for myself that I've never felt before. A level of like acceptance of like, you know what? It's okay if this happens, rather than like I feel like I'm lacking without it. And like I want to preface again, I'm not saying I'm perfect by any means. Like
Yeah.
this has just been my personal journey to healing of why like I'm single right now. I'm perfectly happy to be single right now because of that fact of I know what I'm working towards. I know that I don't want the non-queens out here. And when I'm putting my pole in the water, the only thing that's biting is the non-queens.
Right.
But that's because I'm not at the king level myself.
Yeah.
I'm not at that level myself of healedness.
Yeah. I right now I hate myself. I absolutely hate myself. But I love who I can be.
Yeah.
And I know that I'm here. I feel like I know I'm here on earth. I can do great things. But I feel like I'm wasting my life and I'm being a piece of shit. So lost my point.
How do you change that though? Like how do you like start caring about yourself,
I think
right?
How do you? Well, I care. You're right. It's weird because I care about myself, but then I do things that obviously show that I must not care about myself.
Right. Yeah.
do you acknowledge and like when it comes to fixing a problem, there's 3 main steps of fixing a problem. The first is to admit that there is one, and the second is to actually ask for help. But the third is to take action on that help. If you don't do all 3 of those things, a change is not going to happen. It doesn't matter how hard you want it to happen. So in your case, then, if you think you're a piece of shit now, but you love who you could be, and you continuously do these things that fulfill the self, like you kind of have almost a self-fulfilling prophecy yourself. You think you're a piece of shit, and so you continue to do these things that feed into that mentality of being a piece of shit.
So what if you
Versus-
don't have someone to ask for help?
Well, that's
Yeah.
well. I mean,
Someone that's like qualified to be able to help you.
well, that's where like it's not necessarily like asking for help. It's figuring out the problems and what are the potential solutions. And there might be a lot of experimentation that you might have to do with the solutions.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's therapy. Sometimes it's asking for a friend. Sometimes it's reaching out to somebody. It could be different things each time, but it's that experimentation that proves the self-love and that proves that you're actually trying to reach toward this. And that itself could be showing yourself like, okay, I'm at least trying. I'm not just sitting here wallowing in self-pity.
My issue is that like I know what I need to do and then I just like sit there and my brain chooses not to do it.
Yeah, where do we get the motivation? Because
Yeah.
like I know what I need to do. I know what's best.
Mm-hmm.
The actions, like I know what actions I should take. I don't want to take those actions. I want to change. I want to make these changes more than anything
It means
in
your
my
why
life.
isn't enough. Your why needs to
I
be
have
bigger.
such a big why.
Then you need to either make it bigger, make it more relevant, because when it comes to the why, it needs to be something that you're reminded of every single time that you don't. If you know that you need to do something, you know why you need to do it. And there's that on the Joe Rogan podcast, he mentions he has two voices in his head. He has the bitch and he has the general. The bitch is the one that comes in and says, oh, it's okay. We can give into this. We can give into this instant gratification, even if it's not going to be good for you. Like, don't go in the cold plunge because it's too cold. Don't go and do this because it's too whatever. The general comes in and says, shut the fuck up right now. You know what the future you is going to think. You know what it's like. I have that.
I have both of them. And then I'll literally be sitting there and I'm like, okay, count to 3 and just fucking do it. And then I count to 3 and I'm like, no.
For me, I have found I don't really do anything unless I absolutely have to, unless I'm forced to.
Yeah,
like damn
by
near
somebody?
forced to. Like, yeah, I feel like I should have joined the military, and that's the only way I'm gonna make these changes.
Yeah.
Because, like, I always find the easy way out. I always find the path of least resistance, and I think it's because I'm too.
We need it. I know. Sorry, I was gonna change it, but you hate when I get up from the
Just
podcast.
open the door behind you. Is that too much?
It's gonna be loud because the planes.
Well, can I get up and no? So
you need an accountability
partner. That is
no, but I'm a manipulator. So I'll get this accountability buddy, and I'll lie to him, and I'll make him think I'm doing all these things. But until I'm like forced, almost physically by somebody, like by who or I used to live, like it took that for me to change. It took for somebody basically looking for me to kill me and kill my family for me to finally make a change.
Right.
And get off the streets of Arizona in the middle of the summer when I was homeless.
Well, for you guys, it's going to be a different thing.
Right.
For you, it sounds to me like you just need an act, like not just a bigger why, but a why that is actually something you can meditate on every time you have these to inject that thought. But like the things that I've been doing to change different things is by like there's a lot of different tools that you can use to build discipline in yourself. And a big one that I've seen that helps me a lot with certain things is reward system. So I'll find something that's a reward and then I'll incorporate it, like the gym. I don't like to go to the gym. I love the sauna. Like I've built myself to love the sauna. But I tell myself I can't go to the sauna unless I've worked out and gone to the gym. But that's also just where
that's how you form. That's how you form an addiction.
That's what I'm saying. Like I would just
that is
manipulate
the early
myself.
signs of addiction, my friend.
I would change what my goals were just so I could get what I
and that's where
wanted.
You just see. And this is why, like, it's so. I can't advise you guys specifically. I've seen what works for me in the sense of like, even if it does form an addiction, for me, I'm fine with the actions that follow that, with the fact that like maybe I do have somewhat of an addiction to the sauna, but I make it to where things are healthier in my life. The fact that like I'm not able to do this, like I keep it moderate. I'm not staying in there for 4 hours at a time. I stay in there.
Not yet. I'm just saying addictions build like that, bro.
And that's also just where the moderation happens of like, okay, is this getting too much? Is this like, and that's where its own thing with which we can do another episode on addiction. But it's like being able, like nobody can force you to do anything. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't force it to drink. So you can say that you want all this, but like until you want it bad enough that you are like getting to that point of like, fuck, like I need to change. You reach that breaking point.
It's not even that, brother. It's because I wanted these things more than anything in the world. But I just have that disconnect of getting myself to do it until I'm forced. And like these more than anything, more than you can even understand. With all my soul, I wanted these things. And I couldn't get myself to do it.
It's more than just like a little 1 hour conversation. There's a lot more that goes into that, and maybe that is something that like talking to a psychologist or talking to a life coach or talking to someone who can not just sit with you for an hour and talk to you, but like actually have that guiding thing of like,
work with you.
I mean, it could be a situation because we're roommates. Like we've talked about this before, and it's hard for you sometimes to get like emotionally like open with me. There's been a few times where you're like, I don't want to talk about this.
There's certain things, yeah, and
like we can work that out. But like if there's like a goal, you could tell me about it, and maybe I can like ask you every day, like, hey, like, have you done it yet? And like try not to be annoying about it.
That's the thing is, I'll just lie to you.
I know.
If I like,
but I could be like up in your face about it. Because you need to be forced. I could get that. I could be that person.
You
for
just
you.
don't scare me enough.
I know, but I could change. Like,
no, actually, yeah, you might scare me. I think you can
I
be
haven't
scared.
showed you that
Yeah, I
time.
don't want to see
I
that.
tried not to show you.
I'll have to put in my 30-day notice.
On day one, like, fuck, I lost Mike. Dude, I can't lose you, so, like, no.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that.
It's all good.
Discipline stuff can be its own entire episode as well. But
Yeah.
going back a little bit to like attachment and abandonment and stuff, I am curious though on your present day ability for attachment of men versus women as well. Because obviously, like, we've seen what like the romantic attachment looks like for men and like what you look for in a guy and all this. But I'm curious, especially since like it doesn't seem like your mother played the specific role that was needed for you growing up, like that nurturer, that carer, that was absent. So I'm kind of curious then on your attachment then towards women as well.
I have a huge problem getting close to women.
Really?
Mainly because also they just like don't like me right away. I piss a lot of people off on accident. And so like I've had a lot of women. Yeah, a lot of the times it isn't purposeful. Like I'm not trying to. There are a lot of times that I am trying to, but like not women. Like I actively like now especially like try to like smile more and like try to talk to them and like. But I've had a lot of like best friends that have completely fucked me over, and so now it's just like really hard for me to let women in. But that's different now because like I literally run a group chat of like 300 women and like started this group called Women on Set Arizona, where it's like a group where like we can advocate for each other and like tell each other like that these people are dangerous and like it's just a safe space for all of us. And like I head an event. I'm like the host of a big event, so hundreds of women come here, like come in to the event, and so it's weird that I don't have female friends, but I'm the host of a women's event.
No, it makes sense.
I wonder if it's
because you have trauma, like past issues with women, but now you're using them to try to help these women.
Yeah,
but you still kind of haven't maybe fully gotten over your issues yourself.
No.
I also wonder if it's a thing of just the fact that like if you see a group of men, there will be a hierarchy. There's just naturally a hierarchy of an alpha, a beta, people. Like they will naturally form that. You'll always see like different people in a group.
Women do that too.
And that's
I'm an alpha.
And that's one of the things. Like if some of these women that have hurt you, some of these women that have done this, it could have been alpha against alpha.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
So at that point, then I don't think it's necessarily your thing against like you can't attach yourself to women. I wonder if it's just the crowd of women that you're around, because the fact like if you take one alpha, like if you take in the animal kingdom a pack of wolves and you take the alpha from them and then you put all the alphas together, you're gonna see a fucking war until one of them comes out as the alpha of the alpha. And then, like, this is continuous things with that. But with you, if we take you and put you in that group chat, you're the alpha in that group chat. The women know that, like, hey, or, like, when you're on a set, you're typically the director or the DP. So people know that you're the hierarchy. Versus in other instances, like, I know that's one of the reasons why I can't be around men. For me, I've built my own alpha complex of my own version of, like, what healthy mentality of men looks like.
Yeah.
Just all these reasons why he doesn't like me. Like,
fuck
it's
you,
coming out.
No. But that's why, like, when when I am around other men that have the alpha complex, that I'm the shit complex, I look at them, I'm like, I'm not gonna, no.
I think that's why they don't like me, is because I have like, I come off as like the alpha, and so they want to fight me. Right away.
And that's what I'm kind of wondering.
Because I don't go into it like wanting to fight anybody.
Yeah.
And then they come at me.
But you take charge probably. You kind of.
Well, yeah, because no one else is, so
exactly.
I'm gonna do it.
So you come in as the alpha.
I don't like wasting time.
And if there's other people that have problems with alphas, then that's gonna be a thing of like, okay, well, they're trying to take their spot. Like maybe they're used to being the alphas in their group.
Yeah.
And so now you're coming in as the alpha, and they feel intimidated.
But every time they come at me, I'm like, bro, like I'm not trying to fight you.
That's
and so
just
like
the alpha thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
That's interesting. I don't know if I've ever been with a female that's like makes more money than me, or I mean, okay, trust fund girl I was dating.
Yeah.
She didn't make more money than me, but she
Just
had
had it.
more money than me, and that was.
But it was nice, right?
No,
No?
I thought it was, but it was turned out to be horrible because I gave her all the power in the relationship, and then she pulled out everything from underneath me in
Yeah.
the middle of the summer and made me homeless. So
Right.
like after that, I was just like, I'm never gonna choose a female over money again.
Yeah.
Like I have to have my finances in order and my responsibilities before I can even value a female.
Oh yeah,
Well, that's my problem.
I could never be in a relationship that I'm dependent at all on the woman like that. I need to
Well, I'm just fucked then.
like I need to be in a situation that like, and it's not to say that like I need to be the dependent over her. It's we
Yeah.
need to either be equal or have some sort of equality in the thing of like, and it's not saying that like it doesn't matter who makes more money.
Yeah.
It's I need to at least like be able to support myself. I don't want to at all expect you to take care of me. But that's also not what a relationship is. A relationship isn't like I'm your caretaker. And that's not how it should be. It's you guys both partner in how to support each other in the ways that you should.
So my problem is like, yes, like you can, I don't like expect to pay your bills, like pay your own bills,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But like, when there's like an issue and I offer like, hey, I can help, then they get all pissed. And then they have this like complex of like, no, I'm going to do it on my own.
Well, that's just unhealthy masculinity that he has.
Yeah, but it's
His
like
insecurities
every,
in
Yeah.
himself.
but it's like every guy.
No, I just don't generalize.
Well, that in my past,
Well,
all
for-
my past,
Oh, okay,
relation-
yeah,
not every
okay,
guy, sorry,
yeah.
like, but in my
And-
past.
But
But how do I offer to help them as a partner in life
if they're
without them
not
feeling like
well,
that?
and that just goes into like originally like how much of a healthy person were they?
No, it's good.
when
It's
you're
getting
good.
into
It's
it.
good to get this out.
Yeah.
It's good.
And
That sucks.
I'm not trying to attack you in any
No,
way.
I don't feel attacked. I'm just trying to figure this out.
It's in the sense that like when you first were getting with them, how healthy of a person were they from the start? Because if they were a healthy person, and now you're seeing this, that's a different story. But if it's like they were showing those toxic traits from the beginning, and you were just blinding yourself to it because you were feeding into the unhealthy stuff, the unhealthy affirmations, the unhealthy tendencies, then that would make sense of why later even more toxic stuff comes out.
Well, I think that's why I'm like so quick to like, okay, this is
Yeah.
who I am as a person, and like by day 30, they always
Yeah.
like freak out. So
I mean, and that makes sense.
You just
know?
need to do a little cost benefit analysis. Like,
yeah,
does the good outweigh the bad? And like
Yeah.
that's what it comes down to, I think, with a lot of relationships, because each person is gonna have their flaws, but it's like, do the good moments outweigh and make the flaws like worth tolerating?
yeah.
And I think that's kind of the best we
I-
can do at this
I
point.
mean, I will
like-
say that when it comes to that financial stuff, it is going to be very difficult to find a man who will accept that kind of like. I even feel very uncomfortable when a woman does that kind of stuff for me. I'm not gonna fight her on it and be like, "No, how dare you try?" But I'll be
Mhm.
like, I appreciate your and it's how
Yeah.
it's how the communication goes. If it's more of like a no, I can take care of this myself. No,
But then they suffer, and then like our like progression
sometimes
doesn't happen, and I'm like, dude, just let me help you so we can get past this, and like,
That's the thing. Is sometimes you have to let suffering happen in order for progress to happen.
but like you're wasting my time.
as Buddha says, desire is the cause of all suffering.
True.
How are they wasting
Does
your
he
time
say
though?
that?
So stop it. Yeah,
What-
he does.
I'm curious. No, I'm curious. When you say that, like they're wasting your time, if they're in a bad situation, how are they wasting your time with their situation?
Okay, here's an example. My ex, I was just curious, and because I'm a problem solver, right? I was asking him. He worked at a company for 10 years and never asked for a raise. And so for me, to help his financial situation, and like I understand that this is emasculating and whatever, but I was just like, so how could you possibly make more money if like they're not going to give you a raise? Like, is there a way at all to make more money? And so he said that if he bought a trailer and did his own jobs through that company, he would make like $500 more a day.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, buy a trailer, you know.
I mean, that's just
I mean, that's probably a lie.
Unrealistic.
Like,
Yeah, like
whatever.
$500 a day.
Yeah, because he would pull his own and have his own team.
I guess it's possible.
And so instead of being an employee, he would be like the main guy.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
And they were gonna allow that apparently. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, for me, it's like buy a fucking trailer, right? And so he like looked for trailers and like we could get one for like $2,500. Like it's not that much money. And he just wasn't doing it. And I was like, can I just buy you a trailer? And he was like, no, like I'll do it myself. And then he never did. And it got to a point where I was like he never had any money. And so I'd have to like give him money all the time and stuff. And I was like, I don't want this in a relationship. You're not doing anything to help yourself. Like you have no goals. You just come home and like sleep and then go back to work and like complain about your life, right? And so it got to a point where I was like, okay, like if you don't have a trailer by like 3 months from now, I'm going to break up with you. And he borrowed someone's trailer and said it was his. And I was like, give me the title. Like, where's the receipt? And he lied to me for like 6 months. And I stayed with him. And that was our biggest fight forever, was he lied about this trailer. And then, so he bought the trailer and then it just sat in my garage for like 6 months. And I was like, you're not even using it.
For this specific example, though, I'm gonna tell you in this specific example.
You know him.
No, I know,
him.
but the fact that like you even stayed with him.
I know, because I'm not the one that leaves. Like I'm not the one that leaves.
What
and so
does that
finally
say
I did.
about your self-worth and your
I know I didn't
value?
have any, and so I finally like kicked him out of my house and like.
I'm gonna say, in this specific instance, it's less to do with like him feeling emasculated by you taking care of him, and more of just he has his own issues that underlie everything else. There's a difference between someone like that and someone who's just like, oh shoot, like I have this happening, but I'm working on it. I'm working on getting this for myself. Like in my situation, a girl might be like, oh, like I'll help pay for blah blah blah. And I'll just be like, well, I'm already saving for it. It's just taking a little bit longer.
And I would understand that. And I did understand that for him. And then he just never did.
And that kind of instance is different, though. Like, in that kind of instance, you'll never be able to solve his he'll always have that toxic masculinity. And he'll never have that desire for improvement.
Yeah, but, like, I will believe that in everyone. And then I give, like, 3 months and you still haven't done it, then I'm going to offer again. Be like, so like if you're not able to save $2,500, but this trailer will make it so that you're gonna make $500 more a day, just suck it up and let me buy it for you, and then pay me back.
And that kind of
you'll make it back in a week.
Well, in that kind of instance, it would have been
no. I just
there should have. In my opinion, there should be more of a plan set in stone of, okay, by this time, we have to have a trip. Like, let's set up a plan then. When can you have it? And if like,
but they take it wrong, like I'm taking over their life and stuff instead of like a partner. Like we're supposed to be working on this all together.
And that means they're just not a healthy partner.
Okay,
they can't communicate in a healthy way.
You have abandonment from your fathers, and then you're in these relationships with these men, but you never leave them, and you want them to leave you.
I mean, I don't want them to leave at all. I just want them to be better.
Okay, that doesn't happen.
Yeah,
I know.
And then you stay with them. Why don't you leave? Like, why do you have to wait for the guy to leave? It just seems interesting because you have abandonment from your father.
Yeah.
But then you want the guys. You kind of almost want them to leave you instead, because you never leave them.
Yeah.
So it's like you want to be abandoned again by these men.
No, I just believe in who they could be, and that's not what you should do. But, like, me leaving my ex was, like, the first journey of, like, finally leaving them. And then now that's why, like, I have this 30-day thing, because I do leave people now. But, like, I mean, this last one, he left me. So it's just, like, a thing, but, like, whatever.
These guys are going to come out with their own show, 30 days. 30 days
Dude,
in,
oh,
Kayla's.
God, that's going to be its own freaking season. Oh, my gosh. Honestly, they should. You guys should get together. Talk shit about me. I want to know.
They already do that.
This is where the concept of healthy communication stuff comes in, and really studying what the healthiness that you actually are trying to achieve comes in.
Yeah.
And that's where the healing comes in. Is like noticing what is toxic, but not just what's toxic, but what's healthy. That way, you're not just focusing on the negative, you're focusing on the positive. You're not just focusing like, okay,
I don't focus on the negative. I focus on like what's good.
But
that's my
thing.
problem.
You need to see both. You need to see, okay, here's the toxic traits that I do go for typically. What are also the healthy traits? You need to have
but they lie.
Balance of both.
They lie.
But that's where it's a constant revolving thing. It's not one list that's set in stone.
Right.
If they've lied, then you need to analyze the situation more.
But I don't know if they lie or not.
But that's why words, they mean nothing anymore. I don't care what you tell me.
That's true.
I don't believe anything anyone says.
Yeah.
Unless I see the action, see you do these things,
you also
show
me now, so I can go back through and be like, nah, he's a piece of shit. Leave him the fuck alone.
No, I call you now. I call you and I'm like, this is what I even sent text, I like screenshots of them. How are you supposed to know if someone's lying or not until like you catch them?
But that's the thing is like that's where time comes in with the sense of like, okay, they're saying this stuff. Like, I'll let a woman say stuff to me, but I'm not at all going to give into everything until there's been more proof in the pudding. Okay. Until like, oh, I like you, blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, okay, well, I'm always the one texting first. I'm the one that's always asking to hang out. I'm the one that's always doing this. You say that you want to be with me. You say this. Your actions are not matching this. Like, I don't see any reciprocation in this energy. So therefore, you say this. Why are you saying? What kind of like? Are you getting the milk without having to get the cow?
So my problem is that they like always want to be around. So I don't have like. But I don't know what my problems are. Like
when they're around, what's happening? Like
they lie to me and they're like, "Yeah, I will fix your car," and then they like help me buy like tools for it, and then it's like the wrong tools, and then I get like, I don't know.
This turned into a whole.
It's a different
relationship.
Yeah, I know.
We can talk about relationships in another one.
I'm sure. I feel like we've been talking about this for a really long time. Should we stop? Like we should.
Yeah, I don't know how long
we've been talking for a long time.
It was
our final statements. What should we say? What's your?
What do you think that summing up abandonment right now?
Yeah.
Abandonment and attachment. I think
for you,
I
going
think
back to
that
you,
just the biggest thing that I can say is try to not let your past relationships determine your future ones. And yes, you may have been abandoned in the past and things may have happened and they did happen. And I just have to accept these things and I need to move past them, because if I keep letting them hold me down and weigh me down and hold me back, I'm never going to be able to find anyone that I can have a good relationship with.
Right.
So yes, I may feel abandoned. I may feel like I've been betrayed, but I need to just learn from that. And that's all I can do. For me, growing and healing is learning. Just learning from those past mistakes, past relationships, and applying them, taking the action, and doing what you know you need to do and what's best for yourself. That's all I can say.
I want to say awareness. Whether it's self-awareness, awareness of situations, that's a big thing that I think lacks in society in general, is there's too much projection and not enough awareness of what situations they're in, what people they're putting themselves around. There just needs to be more discovery and awareness for people. And that's the only way that progression can happen. Because like I said, the only way to fix a problem is to admit that there is one. If you can't admit, and it's not just like a generalized problem of like, oh, I have these issues. It's you have to be willing to open the cut back up a little bit. Like I give the analogy of stitches versus Band-Aids. In a wound, especially a deep wound, you can put a Band-Aid on it. And it's not going to hurt to put the Band-Aid on it, but it's not going to actually heal the wound. In order to get the wound healed, you need to go in, stitch it up, which is going to hurt like a bitch. But that's going to be how the skin actually heals together. There's going to still be a scar afterwards, which is going to be that memory. But if you've been able to take 2 steps back to get that step forward, that might be what has to happen. So
I get it. That was a very long analogy.
Yeah.
And then they do have numbing agents now when they stitch you, so it doesn't really hurt.
but
Like,
if you bump the stitches, I don't know. When I had stitches, it still hurt like a bitch. When you that needle going in to get the numbing agent, I don't know, man.
Fuck. Yeah, I have nothing to say besides I'm gonna try to implement what you guys told me today, and see if that works because I'm completely lost in like how I'm dealing with abandonment issues and like my anxious attachments.
well, thank
Like-
you for being vulnerable with
Yeah.
us. And like, do you feel like we may have helped at all?
Oh
Like,
yeah, because I'm just out here like by myself, just going crazy.
because you
You're
have
not
two,
by yourself,
two
so,
guys
you know.
that care about you. They're neutral parties,
Yeah.
and we have no motivation to steer you the wrong way.
Yeah,
So
I'm grateful for you
Everything
guys.
that I say is based off of trying to build me, you
Mhm.
into all healthier, better people.
Yeah.
It's never ill intentions to,
Yeah.
I'm trying to make it to where you're single forever.
Right.
Like,
Maybe I should be though.
yeah, he's low key trying
a
to.
little bit like, yes,
That's so funny.
another fuck dude.
No. I think that's the point of this podcast too,
Yeah.
is just like talking about this and trying to heal and whatever our problems are. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful
Yeah.
for
Well,
you guys.
We achieved that.
Yes. Thank you
So good.
guys for tuning in to another therapy session.
Appreciate
And
you guys for having
yes.
me. Hopefully, I can be back sometime.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
we need a second episode.
Yeah.
We are in the kitchen of the house I live in.
Thank you again for the vulnerability,
Mhm.
for being open and honest. I know sometimes it is hard, especially being a man in this society with the vulnerability and stuff.
Mhm.
So I just want to say, man to man, I appreciate you coming on to be so expressive, be so open and vulnerable.
That's what I do. I mean, I literally sad boy, sad sloth. So like,
Yeah.
I have no problem being vulnerable, and I think more people should admit that they
Absolutely.
have. Like, that's the whole sad thing. It's like I'm not always sad, but I just want it to be normalized.
Yeah.
To
Mhm.
tell people how you're really feeling.
Yes,
And
exactly.
so, like,
And
yeah,
thank you as well for your openness and vulnerability. And I hope you didn't feel attacked at all
No.
in any of this.
No, no.
And I know that you did talk about stuff as well that might be a bit uncomfortable to bring up, but I'm sure that you know the importance of bringing up vulnerable topics,
Yeah.
stuff that is uncomfortable to talk about, because that's the way. Like, vulnerability is the key to connection.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, I hope it
and
helps other people.
Yeah.
You know.
that's all we can do. And
Awesome.
Alex, I just want to say thank you for getting the haircut. Major
yes.
improvement. So
of
that's
course,
awesome.
I only did it for you.
Yeah.
Be better.
Awesome. Cool.
All right, guys. I'm Sad Sloth,
Okay,
y'all.
see you later.
I'll leave you my phone number if you want to hit me up, DM, slide in on them. You know.